Thanks for tuning in with us on our Fox Sports 2 coverage. You're watching America's Day at the Races, more like America's Night at the Races tonight. Our program brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Thanks so much for joining us. The matching was not planned up here on the set as Acacia Clement and Paul Vierderosa join you. We got the Preakness vibes going on. Preakness 148 in the books. But Paul, we're going to be talking about, we have some races from Charlestown tonight, but more importantly at the Meadowlands this evening. A big, big night of racing.
Yeah, huge night for them tonight. It's the first major trotting event of the year. We've got the Cutler going on. It's a solid group of trotters, first Grand Circuit event. Looking forward to it tonight. Named in memory for Artie Cutler, one of Jeff Gurl's best friends back in the 90s.
Yeah, I heard he was a restaurateur, a man that loved racing and good food, which I think we all can agree with. But the feature at the Meadowlands of the Big M tonight, the Arthur J. Cutler Memorial, where we're going to see some of the top older trotters lining up, including Bella Bellini, who was last year's Dan Patch Award winner for 3-year-old female trotter. And we got a chance to cover her a little bit on our shows last year. And now she's trying to make a splash as a 4-year-old. Her owner-breeder, David McDuffie, toying with the idea of potentially retiring her at the end of last year, but it's great to see her back. Yeah,
it's great that they're keeping her around. And this was her crowning achievement last year when she ran down the Queen, where she beat the great Atlanta in here in the Breeders' Crown Mare Trot. She had a really great year when you consider that she faced the boys a lot last year because there just isn't so many stakes opportunities out there for the older mare trotters. And when you look at her lines for this year, you may say to yourself, wait a minute. But you know what? We'll talk about that later because I'm telling you, it's a firepower group tonight, but she's got some firepower of her own. She can run.
And historically, mares have fared very, very well in the Arthur Cutler as they've won 3 out of the last 4 editions. We'll see if we could get a little girl power again tonight as we continue that theme. Welcoming in Jessica Otten for the first time this evening. Jess, looking forward to all of those big names lining up, in particular, seeing Bella Bellini back.
I am so excited to see Bella Bellini's second start off the bench. She's definitely feeling herself with me right now. You know, she had that first start off the bench a couple of weeks ago. They took her off the gate. She trotted forward at the end of the mile. It was really nice go for her first start off the bench. And they came back and qualified her last week, but she's taking on 10 other foes in this race, and it is all males. She's the lone female in this race tonight, and like you had mentioned, she was a trotter of the year last year over all trotters and her divisional honors as well, and we saw her win the Breeders' Crown. She loves to track down horses. She gets a perfect post to work with. I know Mr. McDuffie is here on scene tonight with us, owner and breeder, of course, with Nifty Norman and Dexter Dunn. They seem to be the dynamic trio, I guess we could call it. So very much forward to looking to get her back on the track here tonight. Like I had mentioned, 10 others will take her on, including its academic, who actually saw win an open trot here on the show a couple of weeks ago. He's fresh off a nice open win down at Harrah's, Philadelphia. He draws one to her outside, plus 3 Svanstead horses, including Rattle My Cage, who was an open trotter last year, and he took the Graduate Open final. A very nice horse. He was second, first start off the bench. Plus Nancy Tactor sends out Pretender. He's 3 for 3 on the season, taking both of the New Jersey Breeders' Maturity plus an overnight event a couple of weeks ago. So you can't knock the sharpness of him, but I'm definitely looking forward to Bella Bellini's second start off the bench and the $155,000 Cutler Memorial. We'll send it back to you guys.
She is. Jessica, thank you. Great to get a little look at Bella Bellini. She's got a lot of charisma in front of the camera, too. Of course, that Cutler Memorial, the feature at the Meadowlands tonight. Sloppy conditions here throughout the Northeast. We've had quite a bit of rain throughout today. We'll also have races 3 through 8 for you at Charlestown in West Virginia. Sloppy main track there as well. As we want to remind you, you can join Naira Bets and play all of the action on our program and a whole lot more with up to a $200 deposit match bonus. Sign up using promo code MATCH200 and you could earn up to a $200 deposit match right after your first deposit. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Don't forget to join now at nairabets.com for your $200 deposit match. Earlier today, Preakness 148. The Woodlawn Vase, one of the most iconic and valuable trophies in all of sports, was up for grabs. Who won it? We'll recap what happened in the second jewel of the Triple Crown after this quick timeout. Stay with us on America's Day at the Races.
Warfront. This son of Danzig ranks among the world's elite sires. Ranked #1 by percentage of stakes winners, graded stakes winners, and Grade 1 winners. No stallion has a better strike rate. Warfront is the sire of over 100 lifetime stakes winners, including some of the sport's most talented runners both at home and abroad. The leading turf sire of 2022 by stakes winners and stakes performers. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Danzig was a Woody Stevens special that he called Seth one day after he was 3 for 3 and was fast and had a problem and looked like he was going to have to retire him, and said, "You need to stand this horse." And he talked him into doing it, and he turned out to be one of the premier stallions of his time.
Danzig's one of the legends of Claiborne, and his influence is far and wide throughout the thoroughbred gene pool today. And you'll look through and see a great influence of Danzig, and we're just trying to keep it going here at Claiborne with Silver State, War of Will, and Warfront. So we feel like we're in a great position, especially with War of Will and Silver State, to keep it going. We love War of Will's foals. Like I said, Silver State has a great book of mares, and he's going to have a really big chance of continuing that legacy.
The Danzig line 10 years ago, 15 years ago, people weren't sure what it was going to do. And it's still continuing on with Hardspun and Warfront, who now the sons of Warfront are looking like they could be really okay on a number of fronts. So that was one of the reasons for War of Will, plus the fact that, he won a classic on the dirt with the Preakness, and then come back and win a Grade 1 on the dirt or on the turf at a mile. So he's a big, pretty horse. He's gotten well supported, and Mr. Barber's bred a lot of very, very nice mares to him, and the offspring are good so far.
And our program brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm, 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. We get ready for our first live race on the program, kicking things off over at the Big M at the Meadowlands in the 5th. It's a 1-mile trot, scratch of the 9. Here's a look at the field. Sadie Hanover, Paul, currently 7-5.
Yeah, 7-5 on Sadie Hanover, and she was one of the survivors in that Lady Suffolk and Freehold that didn't actually break, so it was a nice victory for her. She'll look to keep it going tonight off her best race that she's had. I'm a little bit of a tactical takeoff fan tonight, though.
I like it. Nice price at 3-year-old fillies in the spotlight. Let's go back to Jessica.
Thanks, Acacia. Race 5 up next. It is 3-year-old fillies, non-winners of 1, but no more than 2. And it's quite the competitive field of 10 we do have in here. I really did like Sadie Hanover. I guess I still do like Sadie Hanover in this spot, but I was hoping she wasn't going to take as much money as she was. A 7-2 on the morning line. She's dropped down. She's dropping down in class. I guess the concern with her was when they went to Freehold, if she would handle those turns there on the half-mile track, and she did. She was a winner by 10, and again, some open her stakes company there. start, but she had two very good qualifiers here at the Big M. So she's returning to the Big M, draws a little bit towards the outside, but I loved that we saw some tactical speed from her off the gate at Freehold, and then in that qualifier 2 back, she come from off of the pace. So I'm going to stick with her on the top of my ticket. I next go to the 5, Royal Filly. Tony Alania sends out this daughter of Chapter 7, comes off of 2 very nice qualifiers. The second one a little bit faster than that first one, and it was from an outside post and against a couple of nice horses as well. Una Madonna, who's facing Sire Stakes horses tonight. Champagne Hanover, she's an older trotting mare, so she was tracking those horses down. It was a nice 3rd place finish, and she trotted forward. She made up some ground, so that's what I like to see, especially in those qualifiers. And then I go to the 6, Flying Drumsticks. Aki Svansid trains and drives here. 1 start last year as a 2-year-old, and that was a winner at the Poconos in 57-4. 1 start this year after 1 lone qualifier, and what I really liked from this start at Pocono was she showed a speed at both ends of the mile. She left the gate, made the front sat, got shuffled a bit, then she came back on. I know those times might not be that appealing, but I really liked seeing speed at both ends of the mile, and she draws a nice post in here to work with as well. Aki already has a win on the card tonight with Special A. What a special filly she'll be. We'll be looking forward to seeing her in the Hamiltonian or Hamiltonian Oaks in August. So it is 7 over 5 and 6 here in race number 5. We'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Jessica, thank you. The 7, Sadie Hanover, 7-5 right now off that win. Paul, as you were touching on, and Jessica mentioned, kind of being the only one that finished. What do you mean by that?
Well, there was a lot of breakers in that race, and I just don't know if they weren't handling the 5/8 at Freehold and the turns there, or if just sometimes trotters go off stride. There's no rhyme or reason sometimes for it. So I just wonder what will happen. Now, the horse to the outside of her, the 8 Canterbury, she was the actual favorite in the Lady Suffolk. She's 20-1 tonight. She broke at the start. She lost all chance.
She's a big price given that.
Yeah, she just needs to mind her manners. They're adding trotting hopples again. So for those of you who don't know what hopples are, I'm going to try and explain it. Try and do it the easy way. 2 oval loops, if you picture that are attached together by a strap. So what they do is they hang them from the harness, like with hopple hangers, it's the technical term, and then you just put it through the loop, and you try and keep them on the legs on the same side. So it's meant to help the horse maintain the gait, just so that way they don't break stride.
I love it. Thank you for the insight, learning a little bit more about what's taking place and the equipment that you see used. Quickly, you like tactical takeoff here?
Tactical takeoff. I know that the horse is 0 for 9, but she ran second behind a pretty heavy favorite in Gigi Hanover. So give her a shot on the inside tonight. Hopefully she stays close.
Ken Workington has the call of the 5th.
Standing by at 2-1, the 5, a Royal Filly, 5-2 on the 6, Flying Drumsticks, 8-5 on the 7, Sadie Hanover. Here they come. Fillies are off and trotting, and it's Wall Street Lady and Royal Filly away together with Flying Drumsticks. Tactical takeoff, took off from the inside. They're about 5 wide in the first turn. Chaluta cuts the corner. She's in the top 4 now. Say round the first turn, so diving in is Flying Drumsticks, followed by Quietly Brilliant, 6th to the opening quarter. Then comes Sadie Hanover, 7th early, and then it's Canterbury, Hanover, and Point Reyes. And they trot past the quarter 2 wide. And here comes Royal Filly and Todd McCarthy to take over, 28-1. So it's Royal Filly to the front to set the pace here, in front by length and 3/4 on the inside. Wall Street Lady second. Tactical takeoff, trotting in third. Chaluta's 4th on the inside. Flying Drumsticks is 5th to the outside. Underway comes Sadie Hanover, stride for stride with Quietly Brilliant. Then Canterbury Hanover. Point Reyes is a long way from the leader. Royal Filly in front here, 2-1, 56-4, 28-3, second quarter. Royal Filly continues to set the pace. Perfect trip for Wall Street Lady second, around the far turn. Tactical takeoff, gaps in third. That's Flying Drumsticks 4th on the outside, making a bit of progress. Chaluta with no racing room. To her outside comes Sadie Hanover, and Sadie Hanover has to come 3 wide right now. She's got about 4.5, 5 to make up here as Royal Filly is going well. It's Royal Filly who took them by 3/4 in 1:26-1 into the the stretch. Royal Philly by 2, drifts out just a tad. Wall Street Lady is full out. Flying Drumsticks is there. And here is Sadie Hanover on the outside, kicking in late. A break from Tactical Takeoff in deep stretch. Royal Philly. Here is Sadie Hanover, final lunge. Sadie Hanover, Royal Philly broke. Flying Drumstick second. Sadie Hanover takes it. And again, off stride, Royal Philly, 154-1.
Your favorite, Sadie Hanover, delivers, closing on the outside. And Paul, just what you were talking about with breaking stride, we saw late in the race that take place at the pace setter, Royal Philly.
Yeah, Royal Philly kind of jumped it off. She was getting short anyway. You could see the strides are shortening here, and then she just kind of jumped it off. Yeah, I don't know if it's the track itself or just sometimes they break. But you know something? That was a nice run from Sadie Hanover. She built on that lifetime mark for her in races last time out. So really good effort from her.
Nice performance from your favorite, Sadie Hanover, to get back to the winner's circle. As we touched on before the break, earlier today we saw the second jewel of the Triple Crown in Baltimore at Pimlico Racecourse, and a lot was decided by the times of the race, by how slowly the race was run. To the inside was National Treasure and John Velasquez. They went right out to the front with the blinkers back on, as you had predicted, Paul. We saw your Kentucky Derby winner Mage much closer than he typically is. He actually broke probably the sharpest he ever has.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, how well he broke today, and he was right up there. I wonder, though, if the race flow had something to do with that, too. I mean, we talked about it last night, too. National Treasure, hoping Johnny just parked him on the front end, which he did, but I did not expect the fractions to be that slow. I wanted them to roll a little bit out there, so was not expecting what we saw going into the quarter.
National Treasure, of course, able to hold on throughout every step, but Mage, and you mentioned a smaller field, different types of race dynamics. Javier Castellano knowing that he couldn't have his horse be so far off of it, and you could see kind of early on that he was trying to kind of keep him in contention. I thought, given the pace dynamics of the race and given his running style, he actually ran remarkably well.
Yeah, I didn't think it was too bad for him, and it actually looked like he had horse coming to the top of the stretch, and it just seemed like he flattened out from there. And you know, I got to give all the credit. And you look at Blazing Sevens, too, who came up. Ran a big race, too. I mean, there was incidental contact here. I know people want to say, oh, they came together, they bumped. It was incidental contact. And when you watch it and you see National Treasure and Johnny go left-handed, you knew National Treasure was going to find another gear. It was nice to see them throw down, though. It was a really good race.
A big effort from Blazing Sevens. The tactic employed by trainer Chad Brown to skip the Derby and go to the Preakness nearly worked for a third time with Blazing Sevens, but it was National Treasure able to hold on, going wire to wire. And a special victory for Hall of Fame jockey John Velasquez, his first Preakness win. And I think it's interesting this year, Javier Castellano was 0 for 15 going into the Derby. John Velasquez 0 for 12 going into the Preakness. I remember a couple years ago, he said to me, he goes, you know, it really bothers me that I have not won a Preakness. And he can finally cross that off the list.
It's two great guys and two great riders, two Hall of Famers that we have in one of the best colonies around. And it's really great to see them break through and get the two races that have eluded them. And I'm pretty sure Johnny's going to have some pep in his step when we see him again.
I'm sure. John Velasquez with the win. National Treasure trained by Bob Baffert going in to the Preakness Stakes. And we'll see who marches on to the Belmont Stakes, the third and final leg of the Triple Crown. Unfortunately, no Triple Crown on the line this year, but the Belmont Stakes in its own right, an important race, a prestigious race last year, won by Mo Donegal. You can catch this year's Preakness Stakes on Saturday, June 10th, for the first time ever on Fox. We're so excited to showcase our marquee race here in New York on our home network. We'll see who adds their name to the history books. Back over at the Meadowlands, it was the 7th, Sadie Hanover, your favorite to get the job done in the 5th.
Scotty Z, I'm going to give you the nicknames. Scotty Z gets the job done for Linda Toscano, who's having a good meet down there so far and built on that lifetime mark last time out. So congratulations to all the connections. See where we go from here.
And hearing that there is an inquiry, obviously not affecting the winner. Anything you saw there?
Royal Philly breaking stride in the stretch. They'll always take a look at that to see when they broke, and how it affected the order of finish. So we'll see what happens, what the judges decide on that one.
Again, not affecting the winner, though. Sadie Hanover taking the 5th here. That 1 mile trot for the 3-year-old fillies. So take another look at the stretch. You can see the 5 Royal Filly, who was on the front end right there when she breaks stride. But coming on the outside really was a big late effort from Sadie Hanover.
Yeah, it took a little bit of dirt coming in that position where she came over, but she was fine, and she did well without a problem, and she covered it well. She covered the ground well, especially in the slop down there.
We have some racing for you from West Virginia this evening over at Charlestown. Race 3 will be our first race on the program. It's for the West Virginia Breds. It's a $5,000 claiming race, non-winners of 3 in life, 4.5 furlongs on the main track here. 8 to 5 on the 8 Doc Elm, as this one takes a bit of a drop.
Yeah, for Ronnie Brown, who's one of the bigger trainers that are down there. Had a bit of trouble last time out at the start, got bumped around a little bit and drops off that effort to the $5,000 level here. From a number standpoint, consistently has been the best horse. And as you know, when you get these lower level claimers, they fall in and out of form really, really easily. The one thing you got to look at with this horse, though, do you want 8 to 5 on a $5,000 claimer dropping in class who has 6 seconds from 20 starts?
Right. That was the next thing I was going to bring up. He seems to be the type that's very good at picking up checks, just not necessarily a winning type. One thing that is to his benefit, though, too, is that he's going back in amongst state breds for the first time in a while. Has been facing those open company claiming types to his outside. Bears Estate taking a bit of attention. Should be on the engine early.
Yeah, definitely. Cutting back, drops to the 5K level. Lost to Doc Elm 2 starts back, but you know what? The outside post does give this horse options, and this horse can be on the engine or could lay just a little bit off because there is a little bit of pace that's still signed on here, especially with the inside horse Eleanor's Jack and maybe even Jefferson Security. And if he's on the line too, coming out, those 2 furlong races at Mountaineer, those are fun races to watch, but when they stretch out, they carry that speed.
If you miss the break going 2 furlongs, you're really out of luck. We'll see how it plays out in the third from Charlestown as they load in. We'll send it up to track announcer Paul Espinosa for the call.
Rocking to home, Spectaculo. Tickling Springs, Jefferson Security. He's on the line, Doc Elm, and the last one in will be Bears Estate. They're in the gate. And they're off. Doc Elm and Bears Estate showing speed along with He's on the Line, who's gunned up now to take command. He's on the line in front from Bears Estate and Doc Elm. It's already 4 lengths back to Jefferson Security. Rocking to home, rolls up the rail now to take that 4th spot. Spectaculo next to last, and the trailer is Tickling Springs. Less than 3 furlongs to go. He's on the line, is on the lead as they hit that far turn. 21 and 4 for a quick first quarter. Bears Estate, Bears down in second. Doc Elm is back in third with 2.5 lengths to find. It's now 7 lengths back. Rocking to home in fourth. Joined in between by Jefferson Security and a 3-wide Spectaculo. He's on the line, has now lost the lead to Doc Elm, who takes charge. Out in the center, Bears Estate trying to re-rally, but Doc Elm takes off on the front end, opens up by 4. It's Doc Elm and Dennis Araujo. Drawing off in the end to win it, wrapped up by 4. Looks like Rocking to Home might have just nabbed Jefferson Security for that place spot. Photo will decide that one in 53 and 2.
On the left lead, it didn't matter. Doc Elm found his friends today, Paul, and was able to get the 3rd win of his career back in amongst fellow West Virginia breds.
Yeah, the most consistent horse was the best horse on the night. And a little props to Jefferson Security, too, who actually did all the dirty work in his last race today and actually on the cutback closed up a little bit and I think finished second in there. But no doubt about your winner for a hot trainer, Ronnie Brown.
Picks up another one, Doc Elm, the victor in race 3 at Charlestown. Bring you prices in a bit. We've got more from the Meadowlands coming up, and we'll look back on a true Triple Crown legend. 1977 Triple Crown winner Seattle Slew not only left his mark on the racetrack, but on the sport in general.
2023 marks the 10th celebration of Penn National's signature event, Penn Mile Night. Friday, June 2nd at Hollywood Casino at Penn National Racecourse. There are 4 Pennsylvania bred stakes, each with a $100,000 purse, plus the $150,000 Penn Oaks. It's all capped off by the $400,000 Grade 2 Penn Mile. Friday, June 2nd at Penn National. First post, 5 p.m. For more, go to PAHPBA.com.
Experience the adrenaline-pumping, suspense-filled action of the Sport of Kings no matter where you are with Naira Bets. It's fast, easy, and secure. Download the app today and start winning with our lucrative weekly promotions, thrilling handicapping contests, and a one-of-a-kind VIP rewards program. Don't just watch horse racing, be a part of the action with Naira Bets.
Whatever you use to predict future stallion success, breathe slowly and gaze at the desert's first great championship race. Curlin won it. So did Street Cry, Arrogate, and now, in a time even faster than Arrogate's, Mystic Guide. The cold hard fact is, after this, he was rated the best horse in the world. Mystic Guide. New to Darley.
Purple Haze Standard Bred Adoption Program in Oxford, New York was created in 2018 by Wanda Palacini to provide training to transition for finding homes and new careers for horses. Horses are started with groundwork and then ridden in an arena before moving on. Horses at Purple Haze are then evaluated and adopted out based on abilities and temperament. If you have a horse that you care about, or if you're looking for a great pleasure horse, contact Purple Haze Standard Bred Adoption Program at 518-669-2715.
In the stretch, here he comes, and he's opening it up again. It's Seattle Slew, and he's drawing clear of the field. Seattle Slew has 4 lengths on Run Dusty Run. It's Run Dusty Run in second and Sanhedrin third. They're nearing the finish line. It's still Seattle Slew, and he's opened it out to 4.5. Then Run Dusty Run and Sanhedrin.
The 1977 Belmont Stakes, Seattle Slew became a Triple Crown winner to put his name in the history books.
Who doesn't love the Slew? I mean, really.
I had a Briar of Seattle Slew.
Really?
Briar horse, yeah.
Wow.
They had like the Kentucky Derby garland on it, the roses. It
That's
was like
awesome.
attached little like rubber bands under his legs. Yeah.
That's a cool little thing to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was such a neat horse, and I love these old videos and Marshall Cassidy calling the race. It's amazing.
Seattle Slew, 1977 Triple Crown winner. Not only was he a horse that was so impressive, so talented out on the racetrack, but he was one that really left his mark on the sport as a whole with how dominant he was as a stallion. It's always great to talk about the history of our sport, and we'll look back on one of the greats.
In 1977, Seattle Slew galloped into the history books. Trainer Billy Turner, who passed away earlier this year, and exercise rider Mike Kennedy prepared the colt for his date with destiny through a unique partnership.
And Billy had a personality to keep people loose anyway. You know, he'd find a joke to say or he'd laugh. He'd have something funny to say. He was just a great guy. But the kind of a horseman he was, he'd come in the morning and he'd go to each stall and he'd bring the horse up to the front. And he slapped him on the neck. Hey, bud, you know, and he talked to him. And then you go to the next one, and he checked the feed pit and see how they ate up the night before. And then later on, I might say, Billy, you want to get so-and-so? No, Mike, we give him a day off today. I was the horse. He knew it wasn't quite right. The first time we decided to breeze a Slew, we put him with an older filly, and who had won allowance races, just to get him started. But when we broke off at the 3/8 pole, he just took off. He had his mouth wide open. I couldn't get a pull out of him. You could have thrown a baby in there, you know, wide open. I had to get to the 5/8 pole before I could pull him up. And his legs going everywhere. He didn't know where he was going. And this is how good a horseman Billy is. When he saw that, he said to me, Jesus, Mike, he said, we got something special here, he said. We never put him with another horse again. He never breezed with another horse.
Seattle Slew in front by 8 lengths. Seattle Slew going easily.
After being crowned 2-year-old champion, Seattle Slew returned as a sophomore to collect Grade 1 victories in the Flamingo Stakes, the Wood Memorial, and the first 2 jewels of the Triple Crown.
It's going to be Seattle Slew, and he's going along easily. Coming on to the finish. Seattle Slew in front by 2 lengths.
Still undefeated as the Belmont Stakes approached, Seattle Slew's team suddenly faced an unexpected obstacle.
I was a mutual clerk in the afternoon. And when we came back from Pimlico after the Preakness, there was a strike on. The mutual clerks were on strike. So they wouldn't let me pass the picket line. So this went on for me then. I got in the trunk of his car so nobody would see me.
With all the pieces now in place, Seattle Slew and his team were ready to face 8 rivals in the test of the champion for an on-track crowd of more than 70,000.
And they're off. For the lead on the inside now, Seattle Slew goes for the lead.
Nobody questioned would he get the 1.5 miles around the barn, because I think Billy was so convinced that he would get it anyway, you know. He had faith in the horse, and he just knew his horse.
And it's still Seattle Slew, and he's opened it out to 4.5. Then Run Dusty Run and San Hedron.
With champion 3-year-old and Horse of the Year honors secured, Seattle Slew suffered his first career defeat in the Swap Stakes at Hollywood Park. A disagreement occurred between Turner and Seattle Slew's owners, which resulted in the horse being transferred to trainer Doug Peterson. Following his 4-year-old campaign, he was named champion older horse, but lost the Horse of the Year balloting to 1978 Triple Crown winner Affirmed, who he defeated in the Marlboro Cup. Seattle Slew retired with 14 wins from 17 races. He entered the Hall of Fame in 1981 and enjoyed a long career as one of the sport's premier stallions, living to the venerable age of 28. His passing was 25 years to the day of his Kentucky Derby win, which kicked off a magical Triple Crown run that put him and Billy Turner in the history books.
The great Seattle Slew taking a look at some of his remarkable accomplishments, but even still, as you heard Richie Migliore touch on in that piece, Paul, the mark that he left on the sport as a stallion too, and you hear the phrase breed shaper thrown around, kind of what he did truly shaped the breed.
Without a doubt, and one of the first to really, truly do that was Seattle Slew. And 2 things really stick out in my mind about Seattle Slew. Angel Cordero said that this was the best horse he ever rode in his life. Seattle Slew. If Angel's saying that, then you know that that's a really good horse. And the 1978 Marlboro Cup, too. Also something that stands out to me because it was the first time that 2 Triple Crown winners ever ran against each other. And he won that day. He beat Affirm. So those were 2 things that really stand out to me when it comes to Seattle Slew. Just really the heart of a champion.
Amazing, and great to have a chance to look back on some of the history of his illustrious career. The Belmont Stakes, it'll be here before we know it. We saw some stakes action today, and it was quite the day for that jockey, Jose Ortiz. A photo finish in the Paradise Creek as Eyewitness came out victorious.
Reach the starting gate, it's post time. Home front, the favorite comes forward. And they're into the stretch. Cold Front put to the test. Cold Cash on the outside trying to go with him, but Cold Front kicks away. Cold Front 2.5. Cold Front does it again, firing the field in the Amsterdam.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. Acacia Clement, Paul Verderosa, and Jessica Otten with you as we continue our live racing from Big M, Meadowlands. Here's a look at the field, compact field for this 1 mile pace. This is the plan. The 3 currently 6 to 5. Let's check in with Jessica.
Thanks, Acacia. Yes, this is a very nice open pace we have in here. It is a shorter field of 5, but it is stacked with quality horses in here, excuse me. And this is where we kick off our first of 2 $50,000 guaranteed pick 4 pools. I'm actually going to hit the all button in here. I figured this is the plan would go off as the favorite after going to Miami Valley and making up a lot of ground there to finish second by a head behind Little Rocket Man. So he's coming back to the Big M where he doesn't always have a ton of luck here. He is a very nice horse, very nice open horse, but he never has a ton of luck here at the Meadowlands, and they are betting him down quite heavily. So I'm going to hit the all button here in the first leg. American Dealer has been racing well over at Yonkers. Southwind Gentry always does well when he's driven aggressively. Like I had mentioned, this is the plan, has been racing well. Billy Clyde, look at those stats last year. 9 wins from 17 starts. He won a huge qualifier here back on May the 5th. Post 9, gate to wire, 26-4. Under wraps and 51-4. He went over to Hoosier Park last year. He does much better on the bigger track, so it's exciting to see what his stakes season will shape up to be, getting this first start under his belt. And of course, Lochinvar Art, when he came here to the Big M from overseas back on February the 4th, we got better than 5 to 1 on him. I mean, he held on for the win by a neck, and then he rattled off 5 or 6 wins in a row. Tried the Borgata over at Yonkers. He did scope sick there after one of those legs, so he missed leg 4, came back in leg 5, and it was a nice 3rd place finish. Pretty even. Came back and drew post 7 in the final there. And what I did like about this horse is he made up ground. He ran into a bit of traffic trouble. Then he came back here on May the 5th, and look at those lines. 27-1, 55-1, parked from post 8, 3 wide nonetheless, and still only got beaten a neck. He put up a huge mile, 26-4 and 49-3. So I'm going to hit the all button right here in race 6 as a first leg of this pick 4. Race 7, 2 deep in here, 6 and 8. The 8 being my top choice, Tactical Takeoff out of the Nancy Tactor Barn, looking to make it 3 for 3. Leg 1 winner of the New Jersey Sire Stakes for those 3-year-old Colton Gelding trotters. Race 8, 4 and 6 in here. Jillaby Dynamite is my top choice. Huge rally first start in the U.S. after a pretty even qualifiers. The second start off the bench, second start in the U.S. Post 4 for Dexter Dunn and Nifty Norman. Race 9, of course, that is the Cutler Memorial Final. I'm going to use 3 in here. Bella Bellini being my top choice. I'm also going to use It's Academic on my ticket as well as Pretender. You can't knock the consistency and the sharpness of either It's Academic and Pretender. So it's all 6-8 with 4-6 with 4-5-6 for a 50-cent investment is a $30 ticket. We'll send it back to you guys at the desk.
All right, Jessica, best of luck with the pick 4 ticket kicking off here in this 6th race, this open pace. Paul, you have money right now on This Is the Plan.
Yeah, this is the plan. I have no problem with this horse being even money. Went out to Miami Valley. It's in Ohio, if anybody doesn't know, and just missed in that invitational. It was a solid 149-3. 4th in that Borgata final. Has plenty of back, class, and stakes to lean on. Form is solid. It's a 1-2 punch from the Burke Barn. I'm looking at the other one, number 2, Southwind Gentry. Last time out, took care of business. It was a nice, really group. Lochinvar Art was in there, too. If you go back and watch the race, you would have thought he had no chance, actually, at the top of the stretch. He found another gear and kicked it in. Won a couple of opens here, 4 and 5 back. He's got a big shot. And just a quick shout to the 5, too. Don't be afraid if you see Lauren Triton in the bike, too, because she's got game she can drive, and Lochinvar Art is not impossible here at 4-1.
The Triton team well represented by that number 5, Lochinvar Art, as they line up for the 6. Will go to Ken Workington.
Season debut, 3-1, 2 Southwind Gentry. Now even money on 3. This is the plan. They're on gate. Race 6 ready for start. Here they come. And they're off, and they've broken a line. Southwind Gentry, Billy Clyde, and Lochinvar Art on the outside with American Dealers showing up on the inside. And this is the plan. Backs away and trails early into the first turn. Billy Clyde in his season debut with Mark McDonald sending him to the top. Southwind Gentry settles for the pocket spot now. American Dealer 3rd. And then this is the plan in Lochinvar Art. Completes the quintet past the quarter. Billy Clyde is 5-1 on the board. Hot 26-4 over the outgoing. Billy Clyde sets the pace, looks for that second quarter breather now. Southwind Gendry in the pocket spot. American Dealer on the helmet third. This is the plan. And Lochinvar Art, and no changes. They follow Billy Clyde. Billy Clyde in front of her, a tight brain there with Mark McDonald horizontal in the bike. Southwind Gendry second, American Dealer. And then this is the plan in Lochinvar Art, no changes. Half rated 56 and 2/5 onto the far turn. Billy Clyde by a length and a half on a mission. Southwind Gendry stalks from second, American Dealer third. Launching to the outside, this is the plan from fourth, and Lochinvar Art follows that one from fifth, heading by 3/4. It's Billy Clyde. Here comes This Is the Plan on the outside. First over, now second and threatening, a menacing move. Southwind Gendry needs room. Lochinvar Art second over and all set to come 3 high. They turn for home, come after Billy Clyde. 124 and 4. It's Billy Clyde in front trying to outsprint them. This is the plan, pours it on. Billy Clyde, this is the plan. And Lochinvar Art down the center of the racetrack is charging late. But Billy Clyde digs in. Lochinvar Art is flying late. Billy Clyde came to pace tonight. Billy Clyde, then Lochinvar Art, then close. Southwind Gendry there with American Dealer. And this is the plan. Billy Clyde in 150 and 3.
Billy Clyde takes them every step. There were a couple points during this running here, Paul, that it looked like he was in trouble, but able to hold on so gamely.
Ray Schnicker knows how to get them ready off the layoff. First start of the year. Pretty successful one here. Held them all off. Nice charge on the outside by Lochinvar Art. Lawrence Wright just almost getting there.
A nice effort for sure. They made it exciting down to the wire there. That was the 6th at the Meadowlands. We have some stakes action to recap of what took place a little bit earlier on in the card. Here in New York at Belmont Park, the Paradise Creek was race 2, given the fact that we did have rain throughout the afternoon. The second race was able to stay on the turf. And you do see Eyewitness, the number 4, out in the clear there. Behind him in the pink cap is Inflation Nation, who just got out in time, but Eyewitness got the jump, and Jose Ortiz, 4 wins on the card today.
Yeah, and Jose did a really, oh, actually, I should say he did a really smart thing. He got a really smart thing to happen, and that was to let Eyewitness rate kindly off that fast pace. If those splits were right, they went pretty fast on some trying ground, so Jose always rides very heady and smart. And in the case of Inflation Nation, I just feel like Dylan had 1 second too long that he had to wait to get through.
Eyewitness, though, he was 3rd in a slow 2-year-old race back in September. That was his lone start on the turf. He'd won some races pretty quickly on synthetic over at Turfway. It turns out he's able to translate that form to the turf again. It was a pretty rainy day, but great to see that this stake was able to still be on the turf. And Eyewitness back to the winner's circle again. Now makes it 3 in a row. He's 3 for 3 as a 3-year-old. And I've often said, and I still believe it, I think these City of Lights are turf horses.
Yeah, and you could tell that Wesley was looking to get him back on the grass. He worked that bullet at Keeneland on the grass, and he did it with a Rest Me Red and did it well, obviously. Yep. So it was enough to get Wesley to bring him here to put him back on the grass. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to rate that far back today, but with that pace that was on, Jose got him to sit and make that move. And I think also, too, if you ask Jose, he'll probably tell you that he made the move a little too soon, but in the context of the race, So in the context of the race, I think the move had to be made, and it was the smart move, and ultimately it was the winning move because Inflation Nation just had that little bit of weight.
4 wins today for jockey Jose Ortiz. Wesley Ward, the winning trainer of Eyewitness. Here's what's coming up next weekend. We are racing at Belmont on Monday, Memorial Day. It's all the New York breds in the spotlight. Big Apple Showcase Day on Saturday. It's the Soaring Softly, the feature of the day. So looking forward to all of that great stakes action to come, especially for all of our New York bred friends. In Kentucky at Churchill Downs today, the Louisville was the feature race, the final race on the card, going a distance on the turf, and it was an upset Foreign Relations from the outside with a horse who only ran twice on the turf, and that was most recently when he crossed the wire first to be disqualified into 10th, and now he's a graded stakes winner on the grass.
I guess that last race was relevant after all for Foreign Relations. So I think, you know, when you look at this race, we talked about this last night, how pace makes a race and how it can affect horses like Therapist and Another Mystery and Bay Street Money. And they all made one big run, and they just flattened out when the time came because of the pace that made the race. But take nothing away from not only your winner, But also, I give a little credit to Jimmy Graham, too, for his good ride on Limited Liability, too.
Limited Liability, the runner-up there for Shug McGahee. Limited Liability in second, but no doubt about the winner. Declan Cannon aboard Foreign Relations, who got the big win. Actually, that was technically his first victory on the grass, given the disqualification at Keeneland last time out. He was surprised pulling the upset there in the Louisville over at Churchill Downs. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about some of the other stakes action we saw recently, including a very special and talented New York bred filly who remains undefeated and is now a graded stakes winner, having dominated in the Miss Preakness yesterday.
Ever dream of owning your own racehorse? How would you like to get in the winner's circle with the #1 harness racing partnership in the U.S., VIP Stable? There's nothing like the thrill of your horse coming down the stretch. To find out more, call VIP Stable at 877-VIP-WIN-1 or visit us on the web at www.vipstable.com. Turning horse racing fans into racehorse owners. Be a winner.
Would you believe that champions weren't measured by rings, but by a crown? That the history books were written on dirt? That the greatest of all time was a horse?
He is moving like a tremendous machine.
Experience the magic at this year's Belmont Stakes as we honor the 50th anniversary of Secretariat's legendary Triple Crown triumph. Join the celebration at Belmont Park on Saturday, June 10th. Tickets on sale now at belmontstakes.com.
Unified, a 3-time graded stakes winner by leading sire Candy Ride, defeating multiple Grade 1 winner Mind Your Biscuits in the Gulfstream Park Sprint, and second in the Grade 1 Carter by a nose. With multiple stakes winners in his first crop, including Roger McQueen and Unified Report. Unified, a proven winner on the track, a proven stallion in the making.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. So glad to have you with us. The live racing action continues at the Meadowlands. The Big M in the 6th. Billy Clyde able to take them every step of the way and hold on. Gutsy effort from the pace setter.
Yeah, big drive by Mark McDonald, too. Put him right on the front end, and they went away in that first start. I wasn't sure he was going to be able to do that. Usually sometimes, I know Ray gets them ready off the break, but this horse had a look that he was going to need one. Clearly he didn't.
And that run you see in his form back in May, that was a qualifier. So really this was his first race of the season.
Yeah, it was his first race of the season, but he's run well out at Hoosier, and he did well to wrap up his season in 2022, and he's picking up where he left off in 23.
$12 winner. Mark McDonald, the driver, he's standing by with Jessica.
And I didn't even know.
Thanks, Acacia. Standing by with winning driver Mark McDonald in the open pace. Billy Clyde, 50-3, first start off the bench. Now, he did miss a week after that qualifier, but he was super sharp in that qualifier a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he was really good in the qualifier. Ray took him here with the babies last Thursday, and we trained him a good mile. Actually, he trained a mile and 50 here on Thursday. Pretty easy. That was actually shocking how easy he did it, and he's come back really good. You know, he's come 25 there on the end, and as easy as a horse could do it.
Let's talk a little bit about the trip. Short field in there tonight. 3 of you left the gate. Was your game plan to cut it all along?
I was just going to do whatever, the opposite of Yannick. He was inside me. I thought if this is the plan left, I didn't want to hurt my horse's feelings his first start. And he decided to duck, so I decided to leave.
Nice breather there in the second quarter. You had plenty of horse coming home even to fight off that first over horse and Lauren coming on the outside.
Yeah, I just kind of kicked the earplugs there and just called on him a little, and then I started shutting them down, and he went pretty handy there.
Going to be looking forward to a nice stake season with him this year?
Yeah, he staked everything and been pretty excited, looking forward to him all year.
Let's talk about Incommunicado in the Cutler Memorial post-8, second start off the bench for him tonight. He danced in a lot of those big dances, though, last year. What can you tell us coming into tonight?
I don't know a lot about the horse. I have talked to Aki. I know they pulled the shoes, and Aki's horses always show up in the stake races. I've driven a lot for him in the last few years, and it's always a privilege to drive for him, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure the horse will be in top form.
Nice job and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Jess.
We'll send it back to you guys.
Jessica, thank you. Mark McDonald, the driver with Billy Clyde. You can see just how much dirt he took, even given the fact that he was on the front end there with Billy Clyde. Big victory and could potentially be a big evening for him moving on.
Yeah, we'll see what happens tonight, and a good start to the year for Billy Clyde.
Absolutely. Well, a New York bred. We love following those New York breds in open company. One of them in the Miss Preakness yesterday, Maple Leaf Mel for trainer Jeremiah Englehart. She was 8-5, and she cruised home in this big victory.
Yeah, talk about passing the test for class, right? When she's on track, she's really good. And if you watch the early part of the race, she literally dragged Joelle up to the lead with the natural speed that she's got. She put away Key of Life, and that was it. Joelle rode her with a lot of confidence. She drifted out a little bit in the stretch, but she was much the best in here for Coach Parcells and Jeremiah Englehart. So getting that 90 by her in the process, too. Perfect 4 for 4. See if she can build on it. If she can get put some races together.
She got a quick speed figure. That was her first race against Open Company, of course, named for Jeremiah's assistant, Melanie. So it was so exciting to see her namesake be successful in that Open Company race. Maple Leaf Mel opting to go to the Miss Preakness instead of trying those New York bred stakes on Monday. And it turns out the connections made the right choice. When we come back, we'll talk about a legendary photographer who is doing her part to preserve the history of the game and let us all learn a little bit more about racing's legends.
2023 marks the 10th celebration of Penn National's signature event, Penn Mile Night. Friday, June 2nd at Hollywood Casino at Penn National Racecourse. There are 4 Pennsylvania bred stakes, each with a $100,000 purse, plus the $150,000 Penn Oaks. It's all capped off by the $400,000 Grade 2 Penn Mile. Friday, June 2nd at Penn National. First post, 5 p.m. For more, go to PAHPBA.com.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. Now it truly is America's Night at the Races. Brought to you by Naira Bets. You can bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Get started at nairabets.com today and use that promo code MATCH200 to get up to a $200 sign-up bonus or deposit match sign-up bonus when you get started at nairabets.com today. We turn our attention over to the 4th at Charlestown. A mile into 16th. There was a slight delay taking place over there, so on the track now for the 4th, and scratch of the 2 and the 7. I'm still a little disappointed that Hot and Spicy Love, who's out, that name was pretty funny. But the number 4, Welling, is your favorite, as this one for Kieran McGee. looks to make it 3 in a row.
Well, it is Saturday night. It is late, so what happens on Saturday night stays with Saturday.
That's right.
So, yeah. So, deserving favorite in here. And when they ship in to Charlestown, they're going to run well. 4 for 11 at the meet currently. And this horse, I mean, if you look at the last 2 starts, open length wins. He's traded some blows with JJD in the last couple of starts, but put that one away pretty easily last time out. I had a hard time getting past the 4 and the 6 in here. The 5 was not a bad option in here. I'm wondering, though, if he's a little bit better with a target and might get that today. I just think the 2 favorites are a little tough in here. It's hard to make anybody else.
Yeah, they do make a lot of sense. Welling, as you mentioned, a horse that trains at Pimlico. That's where Kieran McGee's barn is based in Maryland. This is a Maryland bred and one he actually claimed at Laurel. It seems just really a horse that seems to appreciate the configuration of Charlestown and has done so well here. You can understand why he's keeping him at this track.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, going around a ground, mile on the 16th, you're going 3 turns here.
3 turns, yes.
It's 3 turns
yes.
at Charlestown. So some horses do like that configuration and spending a little bit more time in the turns at the bull ring.
He's probably waiting for the Timonium races to kick off as he's a Maryland bred. Go past the popcorn stand and the Ferris wheel. Charlestown, have you been to Charlestown before?
No, I have not been to Charlestown, but when I was part owners, I did have a horse called Ghostly Song who ran at Charlestown, trained by Laura Carson, Wesley Ho Road. They did win down there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. I've driven by. I've never actually gotten a chance to go to the racetrack. But I actually used to do Horse Racing Radio Network, did a couple shows with Paul Espinosa, the track announcer there. He's a great guy. Cool. Does a great job. And speaking of Paul, we'll go right over to him. Paul Espinosa has the call. Race 4 at Charlestown.
JJD. Last one to load will be Master This. Master This to the outside post. Goes in. They're in the gate. And they're off. A King is Always King broke alertly. There goes JJD. Outside of Velvet Ghost, and now JJD steps on it and opens up quickly by 3 on Velvet Ghost in second. They're followed by A King is Always King. Welling well off the pace tonight, racing back in 4th and already 5.5 lengths off of JJD, who appears to be doing it comfortably on the front end. Lacoya Road is 5th, and the trailer is the late running Master This. They come into the stretch for the first time. And Arnaldo Boca Chica goes to work on backing this pace down aboard JJD. 1 6 furlong circuit to go and a 2-length lead for JJD to an opening quarter in 24 and 4. Velvet Ghost just token pressure in second, and then comes A King is Always King. Welling is racing out in the clear from that one's outside. And then comes Lacoya Road, and the trailer remains the West Virginia bred Master This, and about 7 lengths away from the speed of JJD. 3 parts of a length in front of Velvet Ghost, 50, and 1 for that opening half mile, so he did indeed slow it down even more that second quarter. Less than a half mile from home, JJD continues along comfortably here. His lead is back up to 2. Velvet Ghost is second. Welling creeps closer now from 3rd, but still work to do to get this front runner with 3 furlongs to go. And then comes Lacoya Road, who's made it up into 4th. Master This is out of last. A King is Always King. Drops out the trail. They go single file into the far turn. 3 quarters in 1:15 and 1. And now JJD starts to sprint for home. He moves away by 3. Velvet Ghost is back in second. Welling is all in from 3rd. Has to pick it up from there. He's now 5 lengths away and had to tap on the brakes trying to angle off of the heels of Velvet Ghost. In the meantime, JJD spurts away to a 6-length lead with a 16th to go. It's a front-running score for JJD. Brilliantly handled by Arnaldo Boca Chica on to take it by 6.5. From Velvet Ghost, Welling, and Lacoya Road. Final time 1:47 and 3.
JJD aggressively handled by Arnaldo Boca Chica and proves best in this edition.
Yeah, they merry-go-rounded it. I thought that Velvet Ghost would be good having a target tonight and couldn't catch the target. And that was JJD, who turned the tables on Welling, who ran 3rd in here. Maybe the track's carrying them tonight, but I mean, it was pretty logical all the way.
For this Pennsylvania bred, for Tim Kreiser, the horses he has brought over to Charlestown, he's done well with a limited number. Now 3 for 7. this meet, and JJD, as mentioned, his speed, something that paid off, and no catching the winner there. Back over at the Meadowlands, it's time for race 7. It's a 1-mile trot here, New Jersey Sire Stakes, the 3-year-old colts and geldings. Taking a look at the fields, that we have a field of 10 with a scratch of the number 10, 65 on. Oh, well, let's check in with Jessica on.
Thanks, Acacia. This is going to be a very exciting race 7 here. Like you had mentioned, it's a New Jersey Sire Stakes leg 2 for those 3-year-old colt and gelding trotters. And we come back this week and we have a couple of nice horses in the same division, or one division, that we have the one lone division of leg 2, earning points to get into that final in a couple of weeks. And you just really look at the horses towards the outside of the gate, the 6, 7, and 8. I'm actually going to stick with the 8 on the top of my ticket. Tactical Approach out of the Nancy Tactor barn. He's looking to make it 3 for 3 in 2023 at 5 starts last year, 2 of those being wins as well. And, you know, Scotty Z said after the race last week that he's just got so much tactical speed and versatility to him that he could really do whatever he had wanted. He had a race under his belt going into leg 1, and he really thought that that was an advantage to his. Now he draws towards the outside of the gate, so it'll be interesting to see, because there is a little bit of speed to his inside, so we'll have to see if he'll take off of the gate or maybe push forward. I think his hand might be forced here a little bit, because the 2 horses to his inside are also very capable of leaving the gate as well. The 6, Oh Well, he was a 2022 Mohawk Million winner up at Woodbine Mohawk Park. 8 starts last year, 4 of those being wins. He didn't race past the Breeders' Crown, which is at the end of October, so this colt was shut down quite early as well. He had 1 lone qualifier back on April the 29th, and let me just tell you, I was in the starting car for that qualifier. It was a rainy, crappy, cold morning. Timmy T kind of just let him float off the gate. He got away 3rd, and when he asked him to go, boy, did he just flip the switch. 26-3 kicker on a crappy track and a 55-mile. He came back 2 weeks later in the first leg of that New Jersey Sire Stakes leg last week, and had post 7. Again, he kind of just floated off of the gate. He came first over, maybe just tired a little bit, but I think that's where Tactical Approach had that 1 start under his belt, kind of helped him there, because Oh Well only had 1 lone qualifier. A couple of these had 2 qualifiers going into it. Still thought it was a very, very good effort. Another 26-3 kicker. He trotted in 52-2. He still kept coming. He only got beaten a length. I just thought maybe he got a little tired there at the end of it. And, you know, a horse that comes out of that same race is the 7 Celebrity Bambino. Ronnie Burke Hall, Yannick Gingras team up here, Hall of Fame team here. Now, this horse is one that had 2 qualifiers. The first one being a little bit from off of the pace, beaten a length and a half to Ari Ferrari. Then last time out, or excuse me, the last qualifier, you know, he left the gate. He was parked in a slower first quarter, not very, you know, anything to get in love with. Another one of those sloppy track mornings, and he comes out of that Oh Well qualifier where he kicked home in 26-3. This guy kicked home in 27, was beaten a length and a half there to finish 2nd in that qualifier, but he really needed room last week. He got off the gate well, he sat the pocket, he ended up finishing 3rd by a length and a quarter, trotted home in 27 and trotted his mile in 52-2, but he never really got a chance to get fed racetrack. So it'll be interesting to see if Yannick will be able to find some room earlier in the stretch, or if he's gonna, you know, kind of sit and wait and see what shapes up, because 6, 7, and 8 can all leave in here. I'm gonna stick with the 8 though. I'm gonna make and look to see if he can make it 3 for 3 in 2023. It's 8 over the 6, 7 in here. We're live in that early pick 4, and I use 8 and 6 in here. We'll send it back to you guys at the desk.
All right, Jess, best of luck. 4 to 5 on the 6. Oh Well, and Tactical Approach 3 to 1 with Tactical Approach, as just mentioned. You had those qualifiers in April, so trying to make it 3 for 3 on the year. A horse that's been in great form.
I just want to see it one more time from Tactical Approach. And now with Oh Well drawn inside of Tactical Approach too, I wonder if things are going to change just a little bit. Flew home in 26-3 last week, just could not get to Tactical Approach. I like Oh Well on top tonight. I know I'm just being a chalk-eating weasel here, but I think that with race flow, I think that Oh Well is going to fit well tonight, find a helmet and get some cover and just pop out and hopefully take it to Tactical Approach down the lane. And I really don't have much of an issue either with Tactical Approach. Just trying to run it for 3 for 3. The horse you see on the screen right now, the 2 for Andy Miller, passed some horses in the stretch last week, coming off a well-beaten 4th. Ran 2nd, though, in the fall Final 4 back in November. Draws much better tonight. 14 to 1's not the worst price on that horse. Celebrity Bambino, though, I do agree with Jess. I would give that horse a look to at 6 to 1.
A nice price there. Celebrity Bambino, third last time out back on May 13th behind Tactical Approach and Oh Well. You touched on Oh Well being drawn inside Tactical Approach. Why is that a benefit?
I think just because for simply the fact that it's a little less ground to travel early on, too. And I think that Tactical Approach is going to go out to the lead in here, so he's probably going to have to be used a little bit to get there. You do have Celebrity Bambino, who sat the pocket last week, didn't do much with it behind Tactical Approach. We'll see what happens with the approaches to the race.
Time for the New Jersey Sire Stakes, leg 2. Here's Ken Workington with the call.
6 Oh Well, big matchup here. 6-1 action on 7, Celebrity Bambino. Trotters on gate, ready for start. Here they come. And they're off and trotting. Dire Straits out fast with Oh Well. Celebrity Bambino on the outside. Kimmeridgian and Point of Perfect from the inside. End of the first turn. Kimmeridgian takes the lead, Point of Perfect, and on the outside, Dire Straits is going for the lead, is forced 3 wide, and splitting them is Up Your Deo, and now Up Your Deo takes the lead, challenged by Dire Straits on the outside. Kimmeridgian is third, Point of Perfect is fourth, off a quarter of 27 and 1. Then it's Oh Well back to 5th position, and then Celebrity Bambino, followed by Flaming Roads near the rear of the field with Upstaged. The 2 trailers are Tactical Approach and Deladmar. Across the backstretch, Dire Straits in front, not for long. A quick sweep from Oh Well. Oh Well, strong strides right by, darts to the top. Up Your Deo now trotting in third. Kimmeridgian is fourth. Point of Perfect is fifth. And then it's Celebrity Bambino sixth on the inside with Flaming Roads and Upstaged. And then comes Tactical Approach next to last, and Deladmar still trails. That half was 56 seconds. Oh Well took over. It's Oh Well and Tetrick now with 3/8 to go. It's Dire Straits back in that second spot with Up Your Deo third and edging to the outside. Flushed out by Celebrity Bambino, a late move. Kimmeridgian now pinned in fifth. Stride for stride with him. Upstaged is third over on the outside as they turn for home and come after Oh Well. Up Your Deo looking for the upset on the outside. 125 and 2. Digging in Oh Well. On the outside unleashed is Up Your Deo and Uckus Fonstead. Up Your Deo coming on. Oh Well digs in. Those two slug it out. Dire Straits is third, and then Celebrity Bambino. Oh Well on the outside. Up Your Deo. Up Your Deo at 43-1. Then Oh Well, and flying late was Tactical Approach there with Celebrity Bambino and Dire Straits 152.
A big upset, 43-1. The number 11, Up Your Deo, able to run down Oh Well. Aki Sponstead, driver, trainer, and co-owner of this one as well.
Yeah, you know what? That qualifier a few weeks ago in 155 and 1 wasn't the worst. I mean, the horse was still 0 for 8 coming into the year, so it's the horse's first win. Did finish fourth, though, last season in that final fall 4. So there was some talent there, and even with the second-tier draw, still found a way to get up over Oh Well tonight. Ran a good race, just got caught in the end.
Pretty impressive. Oh Well aggressively handled. Timmy Tetrick, the driver of that one. Oh Well, your favorite, caught late. 1-2, 43-1. Up Your Deo pulls the upset in the New Jersey Sire Stakes. As we mentioned before the break, photographer Barbara Livingston has captured some of the great moments in our sport of horse racing, but she's taken it upon herself to play a role in preserving some of its history.
Barbara, you recently acquired all of Jim Raftery's photos, his whole collection. For somebody who has been taking photos your entire life, why did you do that?
I grew up looking at Mr. Raftery's work, and just his name was revered. Any place near me, don't say anything bad about Mr. Raftery, because he helped to form the person I am, with not only just his race finishes, winner's circles, that kind of photograph, which is necessary for history, but because he would go beyond that, and he was an artist, and he would take photographs of the horses where I almost felt like I was touching their soft noses, or of the riders where I felt like I was friends with them at the dinner table. And so for years, I finally found out about where the family lived in Miami, and I just kept telling them how much I thought of their father and grandfather, depending who I was speaking with. And then finally, they were willing to let it go on to the next generation, to the next person. And obviously, I won't be keeping them forever. I'm just the steward for now. But I just wanted to do my best to protect them, to get the work out there, because I think a lot of people have lost a sense of the beauty of the history of our sport and of each horse and each person. And so, you know, we made a deal. I drove down, I got a U-Haul down there, a 15-foot U-Haul, which is huge, by the way, and brought them all back up to near Saratoga to start working on them, chronicling them, just making sure they're protected until they go on to the next place, which will probably be the Keeneland Library.
He runs with quick, short, sharp strides, not the classic flowing locomotion of the rangier kind.
But at the end of the day, why? Like, what's the reward for you? It's not financial. What is it that drove you to do this?
I have such respect for what he did, and it's an incredible breadth of work. I had no idea even, and I knew how great he was, but I didn't know just the sheer quantity, racetrack after racetrack, 8, 9, 10 racetracks at different times, 40, 50 years of chronicling every detail that he could. I mean, that included security guards and signs at the track, and you know, people's children, and everything, just everything that he thought was worth preserving for history's sake. When you own a lamp, you own the pictures on the walls, and you die. They just go on to the next generation at whatever crappy lawn sale you might have, you know, for a quarter, $1, whatever, and they remain like they were. But with the negative collection, it almost doesn't exist until it comes back to life. Like they're dormant, they're little cocoons, and you bring them out and you turn them back into the butterflies they were when they were first created by a master craftsman.
Seabiscuit by 3. Seabiscuit is the winner by 4 lengths. And you never saw such a wild crowd. Seabiscuit the winner by 4 lengths.
Some amazing photos and incredible story, and hats off really to what Barbara Livingston is doing. And she also posts some of those great Rafter turf photos on Twitter periodically as well, which is so fun to look back on.
It's just the history of horse racing, and I value that so much because I'm the same way with my pictures and my videos, whether it's with friends, with family. So just to see her do that and to keep this tradition going and to be able to see some of them and have them survive is just amazing.
Love seeing some of those old tracks too, you know, Hialeah in its glory, the old Gulfstream, and some of those big iconic races and iconic horses as well. Over at the Meadowlands, 43-1 upset in the New Jersey Sire Stakes. Up Your Deo able to run down your heavy favorite, Oh Well.
Yeah, and you know what? That second tier did not hurt this horse tonight. Found a great trip, followed through, came up on the outside, and Oh Well is all class. Horse dug in like it was supposed to, just got nipped at the wire by a horse who was ready first off the qualifier for a guy who knows a thing or two about getting them ready.
He certainly does. Aki Svanstedt, trainer and driver. $89.60 winner over your 1-2 favorite. The other favorite, Tactical Approach, in third. That's the 7th. Still to come, though, a spectacular mare. Last year's 3-year-old champion is back, Bella Bellini. She was the best female trotter last year. Can she make her mark as a 4-year-old? She's back in action in a little bit.
Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Here's Mage coming strongly down the outside. Angel of Empire is putting in his run, and there's 1 furlong to run. 2 Bills on the inside, trying to hold off Mage. Mage has taken the lead here as they come into the final 16, and it is going to be Mage to win the Kentucky Derby.
The Classic Sire.
Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program in Oxford, New York was created in 2018 by Wanda Palacini to provide training to transition for finding homes and new careers for horses. Horses are started with groundwork and then ridden in an arena before moving on. Horses at Purple Haze are then evaluated and adopted out based on abilities and temperament. If you have a horse that you care about, or if you are looking for a great pleasure horse, contact Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program at 518-669-2715.
Introducing a stallion, as top class as they come. In 22 career starts, he won or placed in 12 graded stakes, competing in 15 grade ones, earning over $1.7 million. His undisputed speed is evidenced by 7 100-plus Spire speed figures, a 3-time grade 1 winner, Raging Bull.
Experience the adrenaline-pumping, suspense-filled action of the Sport of Kings no matter where you are with Naira Bets. It's fast, easy, and secure. Download the app today and start winning with our lucrative weekly promotions, thrilling handicapping contests, and a one-of-a-kind VIP rewards program. Don't just watch horse racing, be a part of the action with Naira Bets.
The industry has a few things that we have to take care of better, and one was the aftercare of the horses.
If we did nothing, these horses would end up in very bad places.
Go back to where we were years and years and decades ago when it was just considered de rigueur that you could just send these horses to slaughter.
It's different than any other program that was put into place.
I remember that meeting at Belmont Park. It was a dream.
It is a first line of defense for those who are concerned about what happens to the equine athlete after he's done racing.
Without the TAA to provide that oversight, there would be a big void in terms of making sure that we have this ongoing safe environment for our off-the-track racehorses.
We started with some 21 organizations across the country, and now we're up to over 82 facilities throughout the country and giving away almost just under $25 million.
It's the one shining accomplishment that we have that we can point to say we really do love our horses.
Just the word aftercare has become part of the discussion, has been part of the vernacular in a way that it was not when I started this position around the start of 2013.
It's a daunting task that the TAA and its accredited organizations have taken on. And that's why the industry itself has got to fund it.
Every time I turn around across the country, you know, the TAA staff is there, and they're shaking hands, and they're kissing babies, and they're doing the blocking and tackling right that needs to be done.
We have a social responsibility to make sure that thoroughbred aftercare is also #1 on the list.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Thanks for sticking with us. It's been quite the weekend as far as horse racing is concerned. Of course, a lot of eyes over at Pimlico for the big races taking place there on Preakness weekend. And yesterday, a historic race in the Pimlico Special before the Black Eyed Susan, and rattle and roll the class here, Paul. But I'm still amazed he got his nose down time.
When you watch the move that Flavien made with this horse, too, you're thinking he's going to win by open lengths. This is going to be easy peasy. I mean, he went from 6th to 2nd, like in a shot. But I think that Speed Bias had a different idea and was like, no, I'm not done yet, bro. So they threw it down here in the lane, which you always want to see in these bigger races because it's what racing's all about. So, and you know what? He's smart. He strikes me as a smart horse, that he knows where the wire is and he likes to get his nose down in time.
Won that Ben Ali last time out, picks up another victory in a row in the Pimlico Special. Earlier in the card yesterday, we saw the Alain Dupont for the fillies and mares, and it was Interstate Daydream, last year's Black Eyed Susan winner, who seemed pretty happy to be back at Pimlico. She's 2 for 2 at that track and picks up another great stakes win.
I'll say one thing for her, Acacia. She doesn't give up.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah.
She fights.
They really didn't go all that fast either, and I think that's what made her probably have something left in the end, because she held off long shot Misty Vale. And once again, it was another race where Leda Vita just didn't, her style just didn't work out in a slow race. And she didn't switch leads either down the lane, so there was that too.
Interstate Daydream, though, Brad Cox, Fleury Racing, Florent Giroux, the winners there in the DuPont, as Interstate Daydream again extends her victory streak at Pimlico, now 2 for 2. Turning our attention back over to Charlestown, we continue on with the live racing there. 5th race coming up next. It's going to be a 7-furlong race, which at Charlestown is a 2-turn race. Don't forget about that. It's a $5,000 claiming race and a dated claimer for fillies and mares, which have not won a race since November 20th of 2022.
And you've got 2-1 on Emma and I on the outside, so I don't know about this. I mean, this horse hasn't run since November of 22 over at Parks, and now makes the trainer change to Crystal Pickett, who is 2 for 16 with a 634 ROI, first off the trainer change the last 6 months.
Wow.
One of those horses, though, was 43-1. The other was 7-2. I think there's a couple of other viable options that you could find in here, though.
Yeah, 9-5 on Emma and I off the layoff, as you mentioned, and off of a voided claim as well. So we'll see if she is ready to roll in her first start of the year. Eating the field, though, here's So Red the Rose.
Soundly beaten in the last 7, and by some of these that she's going to face tonight.
Stretching out a little bit. There's the 2 floating by.
The 9-year-old mare, daughter of Stroll, had a good end to 2022. Took a few starts to get going in 2023, but was a good closing second.
Here's Maysai Princess.
Haven't seen her since finishing second in March. She was second. You know, she has some good races to go back to in the summer of 2022.
Seeds of Time is next.
Yeah, it hasn't run much in the last few, so I don't really see much tonight for this horse.
Miss Wild.
Miss Wild, draw a line through the last. She kind of ducked out at the start. The last race wasn't bad before that, just kind of slow.
Big price on Lightfoot Miss.
As expected, hasn't run that much and run that well lately.
Here is the 7, Life in a Flash.
Life in a Flash is getting a little bit of play tonight. It's only 1 for 14, though, at Charlestown, and really has one pace to her.
Upsy Daisy Do, another big price.
Yeah, another big price, and rightly so. Races aren't that fast. It's been struggling.
Stormy Cat Lady is next. We saw her in New York for quite a while.
Yeah, saw her for a while there, too, and she hasn't had much success since going down to Charlestown either.
And Emma and I, still your favorite.
Yeah, the horse, like I said, coming off that voided claim and now going first time Crystal Pickett. Does figure here based on the numbers, but you just wonder, with only 2 works, what is she going to be?
5-year-old mare by Exaggerator to the outside, maybe given the fact that she's by a Preakness winner, Exaggerator, who loved a wet track and the rain we had today. Maybe betting public thinking that she will appreciate the surface.
Could very well do that, and you're looking at Maysai Princess now, too. 6-1's a pretty good price on this horse. I mean, you know what? She was second quite a bit and ran some good races, too, back in the summer of 22. We'll see what happens first off the layoff here.
6-5 on the 10. The number 2 floating by is 3-1. She's taking a little attention off that second place finish at a comparable race last time out. Same level of competition. Start number 79 for this 9-year-old mare.
Yeah, a good warrior mare.
Yeah.
And you know what? She had a good end to 2022. She came back. It took her a while to get going. That last race, though, she did step it up, and her number went up as well in that last race.
Owned by some great people, too. Kater Racing. We see Matt very prevalent in New York as well. Run some horses down at Charlestown. He's probably watching. Hopefully they have his silks over there. As 5-2 on floating by. 6-5 though. Such a short price on that favorite. Race 5 coming up just about post time as they move towards the starting gate against sloppy conditions over at Charlestown. And it's kind of crazy to think that we are 2/3 of the way done now with the Triple Crown. Just the Belmont to go. All of our attention will turn on New York, which is exciting for us, but it feels like it's going by so quickly.
I know, you build up and you build up and you build up, and we're all excited about the prep races, and we're all excited about, you know, getting these horses to get to these races and the drama that surrounds it, and now we're 2/3 of the way done, and before you know it, we're going to be picking up with the summer stuff.
Yeah, pretty crazy. It'll be here so quickly. It kind of caught me off guard when I looked at the calendar today and said, wow, it's May 20th. We're almost done. We're almost done with the month.
I know, the time is flying by.
I know. What are you most looking forward to as far as Belmont and all the graded stakes we have coming up?
I always love the Met Mile.
Yeah.
Always love the Met Mile. It's always a great renewal.
Some really good
some really good horses are going to be in there. It's just a great day, and I like that this year, too, that we've moved some of the stakes around, so you're going to get a couple of days of really good racing, and hopefully all the players show up. Hopefully everybody stays healthy, and they all get there, and we have some great racing.
It should be interesting, too, as far as the 3-year-old picture, because Mage was the only one from the Kentucky Derby to go on to the Preakness Stakes. Everybody else that was considering the Preakness decided to bypass the race, which, given how it was kind of a short field and not the strongest, more should have taken a shot, really, when you think about it. But that, I think, would make for a super contentious Belmont Stakes to come.
It's hard in retrospect when you armchair quarterback and you say, I should have, would have, could have, took that shot. But I think the Belmont's going to turn out to be a good race. And I would think now, with the way things have turned out, you're going to get a full gate, I think, to come to run in the Belmont. And I think you'll have, of course, you'll have new shooters that will be involved, and you'll have horses that ran in the Derby that'll come back and run in the Belmont.
And, of course, you can watch for the first time ever on Fox, June 10th. We're going to have all the action for you. America's Day at the Belmont taking place throughout the whole afternoon, the whole card brought to you. And so excited to have the opportunity to show our marquee race in New York for the first time. A big time. Big Fox coming up on June 10th. Loading in for the 5th at Charlestown, 3-2, still on your favorite to the outside. Emma and I, that's too short a price for me, Paul.
Yeah, too short off the voided claim. I'm willing to give, well, I was going to say Floating By a shot, but with the way the track's playing,
yeah.
I'm just looking around to see who's there. And unfortunately, I keep coming back to the same horse, which is the outside horse. I don't want to do that. Maybe a little bit of Miss Wild in here.
Okay, I like
at a price.
All about in. Just 1 or 2 more to load in the 5th at Charlestown. Here's Paul Espinosa.
See Daisy Do, Stormy Cat Lady. And the last one in will be Emma and I. Currently your 3-2 favorite. Loading by, second choice at 9-5. Emma and I. Moves in, they're in the gate. And they're off. Good start down inside for Mayside Princess, and she's sent out to vie for the early lead. Upsy Daisy Do is up close tonight, with Miss Wild in between, and a 4-wide Emma and I racing now up into that 3rd position. Seeds of Time is back in 5th. So Red the Rose 6 down at the rail. Lightfoot Miss racing in 7th, followed by Floating By 8th. Another gap of 2 more to Life and Flash, not cornering all that well, and the trailer is Stormy Cat Lady, about a dozen lengths off of the front runners as they head to the half-mile pole. Opening quarter in 24 seconds flat, Mayside Princess by 3 parts of a length from Miss Wild in 2nd. 2 more to Emma and I racing out in the clear from 3rd. Seeds of Time is covered up down inside 4th. 2 more back to Upsy Daisy Do 5th. Floating By is on the move and moving quickly now inside of horses, and she's up within half a dozen lengths of the lead. Further back comes Lightfoot Miss. She's followed by Life in Flash, and then So Red the Rose. Another 5.5 back to Stormy Cat Lady, the trailer, as they hit the far turn. Opening half in 48-4. And up top, Mayside Princess. She's been in front throughout, and now moves away to a 3-length lead. Miss Wild giving chase in 2nd. Floating By has made good progress, but still has work to do from there. 1 furlong to go. Mayside Princess tears off the turn, moves away to a 4-length lead. Miss Wild still back in 2nd. Floating By flattens out in 3rd. 16th to go. Mayside Princess is clear. It's Mayside Princess and Rashawn Latchman. They win it by 2.5 over Miss Wild, and then Floating By with Life in Flash. Final time 128-4.
Mayside Princess gets the win, building off of that 2nd place finish last time out, and a bit of a freshening since March.
Yeah, and showed speed off of that freshening. That was pretty good by Rashawn Latchman to know that get to the front today and just stay there. They ran 1-2 around the track again.
Seems like that's where you want to be on the track.
I would think so today, and Miss Wild ran big for me.
I like it. Back over to the Meadowlands, race 8 coming up next. It's a 1-mile pace. Here's a look at the field right now. Jilly by Dynamite, currently 6-5, the 4. As we'll get a trackside report from Jessica. This trackside report brought to you by Standard Breds of PA. Jess, what do you got for race 8?
You know, I do land on the favorite in here, Jillaby Dynamite. I just want to go back. This is a numbers of 20,000, which is a step below our open, and it's quite the hefty field that we do have in here. A field of 9, and you really could have gone to 3 or 4 horses on the top of your ticket, but I was just so impressed with Jillaby Dynamite last time out. I actually had him on the top of my ticket when he was better than 4-1, and he made up so much ground. A 26-second flat quarter. They're pacing in 49-4. That was first start off the bench. Now, if you go back and look at that qualifier, maybe not something to fall in love with, but he did come out of that qualifier where Billy Clyde went gate to wire in 50 and change. He came home with 26. So he had a flat 5th place finish in that qualifier, came back the following week, and boy, was he strong. Taken back off the gate, 3 wide at that 3/4 pole, and he was, you know, only a head winner, but he just looks so strong doing it. So I'm going to go back to him this week. He gets another good post to work with, and of course, Dexter Dunn's choice in here for trainer Nifty Norman, and we'll see them team up in the Cutler Memorial with the mare Bella Bellini. I next go to the 6 Kimono Beach. Noel Daly and Andrew McCarthy team up here. Don't really love that he's 0 for 6 this year, but he's just been racing so well and against the top horses. Open company here at the Meadowlands back in April on the 8th and on the 15th, being a half a length there to finish 4th, and then only a length and a half to finish 3rd behind Red Right Hand and Nicholas Beach. Then went to Harris, Philadelphia, tried the Open down there, tried to cut it there. 3 starts ago from post 6, parked the corner at 26-4. Then, you know, he did all the heavy lifting on the front end, so maybe that 26-4 park just maybe got a little bit too much out of him, but he got beat by a Rock and Roll Star that start and the start after that. Rock and Roll Star went 6 in a row between here, Pocono, and Harris, Philadelphia. So, you know, he's a nice horse in his own right as well. Dropped down to the numbers of 20,000 level last time out and just sat behind Burnham Boy. Didn't really make up a ton of ground on him. He was beating a half a length, pacing 49-4, 27-4 home at the end of it. So back to the mile track in here, and this numbers of 20,000. It's no easy task, but he's just been racing so well in those 6 starts this year. He's got a nice resume last year, 5 wins from 13 starts, 14 wins overall from 49 starts, just under $500,000 in the bank. So if the trip works out for him, I really do think it could be his time to shine and punch through. I also use the one Nandolo, Lauren and Strain Tritton team up here. Now this guy paced in 48 and change back in January on one of our Sunday afternoon cards. He's been racing mainly at Yonkers. He was in the Borgata series. Just didn't have a ton of luck there. He was running into some really, you know, nice horses, troubled trips, outside posts. So he was in the Borgata Consolation, had an outside post, middle pack post there, excuse me. Outer flow really didn't go anywhere. He didn't really make up any ground. He picked up a check in there, then dropped down to the numbers at 15,000, level 3 back, and was a solid winner after a game first over trip. So one thing about Nandolo, though, is he can live on the outside. He can do it from off the pace. He can do it on the front end, and he can grind first over. He's a big, good-looking son of Better Than Cheddar. He draws the rail in here, which can be a bit tricky, especially if you want to, you know, get well positioned or maybe cut the mile, because you almost have to be going, you know, maybe twice as fast as the horses on the outside of you, because we don't have a slant track here. So, you know, an interesting race this could shape up to be. The 3 Stone Ridge Reef, don't have them in my top 3, but a consistent horse here. 17 starts, 4 wins, 9 seconds, and 3/3. He just got beat to Jillaby Dynamite last time out, and again, he was the one who was parked to the quarter in 26-2, cleared, then sat the pocket, and had the lead down the stretch before Jillaby Dynamite just caught him there at the end of the mile. So he really could go any which way in here. I'm going to go 4 over the 6-1. Don't overlook the 3, though, here in race 8. We'll send it back to you guys.
Jessica, thank you. Stonebridge Reef, a nice price at 11-1. And Paul, I know you had a little interest in that horse as well.
Yeah, I think that just missing last week to a horse like Jillaby Dynamite, who ran really, really well. I have no problems with the favorite at all. And as Jessica said, this horse got parked through that 26 quarter, did eventually clear off, and then got put in the pocket again. Still managed to finish, just missing by a head to your favorite. And your favorite is legitimate. This horse had good form in Australia before coming here, and they race longer there. Those races are a mile and 3/16, a mile and 3/8. They race longer down there, so it took this horse a little while to get going, so I don't hold that qualifier against him, and like Jessica said, ran into Billy Clyde there, but came back strong. 149-4 was big for that race, closing that ground, so when the freight train gets going, he gets moving.
Jillaby Dynamite, the 6-year-old gelding, currently your favorite. The top pick for you, the favorite?
Yeah, I guess, but I'm really about the 4 and the 3 in here with a little bit of the 1 on the outside.
the one Nandolo, who Jessica touched on, third last week. And this is a horse that's been pretty consistent recently.
Yeah, made it look easy as the big favorite on the class drop, but then misfired last time out when got moved back up, and it was 1-5 that day. So I'm banking on a rebound tonight. I just don't know, though, if this horse can put away the 4 and the 3.
Jilly Dynamite started over in Australia recently, got back on track at the Meadowlands. Ken Workington has the 8th.
One Nandolo. The others in double figures. Jilly Dynamite. 4-5. Race 8 starts the pick 6. Here they come. They're off. Living the Beach Life and Komodo Beach backed away. There goes Stonebridge Reef on the inside into second. Nandolo gets away in third. Nothing But Finesse is fourth. And Jilly Dynamite sprinted fifth around the first turn. Then it's Komodo Beach who backed away early. Jimmy Connor B near the rear of the field with Sonny Weaver in B2B. Zipping right to the top was Living the Beach Life, but taking over Stonebridge Reef and Todd McCarthy off a quarter of 27-4. Stonebridge Reef anxious second now as they race across the backstretch. Living the Beach Life in that pocket spot. Nandolo is third. It is Nothing But Finesse in fourth position across the backstretch. Jilly Dynamite on the helmet in fifth. Then it's Komodo Beach sixth. Jimmy Connor B is seventh. Sonny Weaver is eighth. B2B is ninth. Out of third, here comes Lauren Tritton and Nandolo to pounce on Stonebridge Reef. Stonebridge Reef, Nandolo on the outside, challenging now off a 57 1/2. Big time breather there. Living the Beach Life, third on the inside. Nothing But Finesse sets it up from second over. Jilly Dynamite sets up his rally from third over, fifth on the outside. Then it's Komodo Beach. Will need some racing room, and then Jimmy Connor B. Sonny Weaver and B2B trails. Nandolo on the outside, reaching up by a whisker. Stonebridge Reef battling back here, and these two are trading blows past three quarters in 1:24 into the stretch. Stonebridge Reef on the inside accelerates. Nandolo on the outside continues to pour it on. Nothing But Finesse between horses, along with Living the Beach Life, and on the cones Komodo Beach is late, but it's Stonebridge Reef. Living the Beach Life on the inside. Stonebridge Reef, then Living the Beach Life, and then it was Nothing But Finesse and close Komodo Beach or Nandolo. 150-2.
Stonebridge Reef, very, very game here in the 8th. Both Paul and Jessica had some interest in this horse as he was just so consistent and was able to build off of that second last week.
Yeah, I think the breather in the second half was the key for this horse. I mean, he got away with almost a 30-second second quarter and had to dig in to hold off the 5, Living the Beach Life. And he ran a good race, though. Very good race at a good price.
Coming up the inside, Living the Beach Life, but Stonebridge Reef able to hold on. When we come back, we'll talk about a second chance for both horses and for the individuals who are caring for them. The Second Chances Farm at Wallkill and what the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation does, this work that helps so many.
You want to do that up front, 290,000.
Nice run here from the son of good magic, Mage in front.
The Fasig-Tipton Mid-Atlantic May 2-year-olds in training sale, May 22nd and 23rd in Timoniga, Maryland. Where will you be?
At the Wallkill Correctional Facility in Ulster County, New York, the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation provides a program that gives both retired racehorses and the incarcerated individuals who care for them a second chance at life, and maybe even a second family.
I wasn't aware that the program even existed. I had never worked with horses before.
I was petrified at first, and I'm not really scared of many things, but when you're next to one of them and they're humongous like that, it's definitely a challenge.
Once they hear me, they coming. They just look, you see the ears come out, they look. Once they see it's me, they coming. They all coming. And it's like, oh man, it's like babies, you know. It's beautiful, you know.
They're locked in most of the time when they're not out with us from 8:30 to 2:30 every day. So those other times when they're inside, they're not themselves. But when they step foot out here at 8:30 in the morning, they change. They're totally different people.
I didn't know it was gonna be such an emotional thing. And you really do kind of bond with the animals, and they look for you to be there for them.
It's more love out here. It's more peace, tranquility, solace, anything you want to call it, the epitome of peace to me.
It's definitely a game changer for being someone who's incarcerated and always being around grown men, different behaviors, and not being able to actually express your feelings to them. You come out here, you can do that with the animals.
I need that. Whatever it takes to get home to my family, I'm going to try it. But then I got out here and I met a whole new family.
How's the family?
Yeah.
Like you said, this is a family. This is a family between the horses, us. Like, you know, we bond a lot here.
I didn't even know I could drive a tractor. I didn't know I could drive a tractor. I didn't know I could mow a lawn. Anything to make this place look better, to make it better for the horses.
At the end of the day, it's all for the horses.
All for the horses.
It doesn't feel like work. It feels like you're home. Come on, girls.
To be able to say to somebody, I have a certificate, like I was successful while I was incarcerated. I may have made a mistake, but I was able to get that second chance while I was here as well.
I did get a letter of assurance saying that some people were interested in employing me, so like that's just everything I'm hoping for right now.
I talk to them, I speak to them about things that I don't speak to people about in there. I can feel like they actually relate to me, and the same second chance that they're given, I feel like I'm getting.
Cannot say enough good things about the work that the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation does. The Second Chances program, one that you learned a little bit about with the gentleman at Wallkill. There are several programs throughout the country, and celebrating 40 years this year, the TRF 40 years of helping horses, saving lives, and that premise of second chances, Paul, just truly amazing and just such important work.
Yeah, it's amazing work that they do, and you know what? A horse can make anybody's day better. There's just no doubt about that. Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't matter what capacity you're in, and it's such a great job and such a great program.
And teaching so many important skills as well, giving a future and a true second chance. Over at the Meadowlands in the 8th race, we saw Stonebridge Reef very, very game to hold on living the beach life. Who's coming up the inside.
Yeah, this was a good call by me, like in this 3 and this 4 in here.
If you don't say so
Yeah, if I don't say so. I'm patting myself on the back. Self-praise stinks, okay? No, but you know what? When you looked at this horse as a whole, I really thought that this horse was going to be tough tonight, especially getting back to the races that it has been running. I just figured, especially after last time and the trip that it had, it could turn the tables on the 4. The 4 was really a no-show tonight. Had no real excuse, just did not flip off of cover and did not run well in close.
Stonebridge Reef, $31.80 winner. As you just heard, a horse that Paul liked. Great call there over Living the Beach Life and Nothing But Finesse. Time for our stakes action in the 9th. It's the Cutler Memorial 1-mile trot. You see some of the finest older trotters assembled, a field of 11, and that does include Bella Bellini, last year's 3-year-old champion female trotter.
Yeah, and you know what? What a mare she is. I mean, you know what? She did lose to open up her 2023 campaign in the Miss Versatility, but if she's on her game, she is the horse to beat tonight.
We'll see, as she's now a 5-year-old. I should have said 2 years ago. Bella Bellini, she's just been absolutely tremendous recently. We'll see if she can pick up the Cutler today. We'll talk a little bit more about it after this quick time out on America's Day at the races. Stay with us for the Cutler coming up after this.
Ever dream of owning your own racehorse? How would you like to get in the winner's circle with the #1 harness racing partnership in the U.S., VIP Stable? There's nothing like the thrill of your horse coming down the stretch. To find out more, call VIP Stable at 877-VIP-WIN-1 or visit us on the web at www.vipstable.com. Turning horse racing fans into racehorse owners. Be a winner.
Legendary Cooperstown, New York. Cooperstown Distillery's handcrafted, artisanal spirits are produced from the highest quality, locally sourced grains, grown only by people we trust and respect. We invite you to taste for yourself and discover our Cooperstown Select distinguished whiskeys. Cooperstown Distillery, the taste of excellence.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Coming to the top of the stretch, Smarty Jones is a 4-length lead. Birdstone is moving to be second on the outside. Rock Hard 10 is back to third, and Smarty Jones enters the stretch to the roar of 120,000. But Birdstone is going to make him earn it today. The whip is out on Smarty Jones. It's been 26 years. It's just 1 furlong away. Birdstone is an upside threat. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes.
Birdstone in the 2004 Belmont Stakes, upsetting Smarty Jones, Triple Crown bid. And of course, that iconic moment with Mary Lou Whitney apologizing for winning after the race, but that race call by the legendary Tom Durkin, Paul, and just recently announced Tom Durkin to be back this year to call the 2023 Belmont Stakes on Fox.
It's going to be exciting to have Tom back in the booth and to have him make the call. Historic day. Tom back on Fox. It should be a great day.
We'll raise the rafters, as he said, that iconic call over at Saratoga. Just so many incredible calls over the years. And I love always getting a chance to see some video of that contraption he made to see his notes and see the silks for his race calls.
Yeah, Tom's a great guy. When I was a teenager, leaving Aqueduct one day, I happened to run into Tom. It was one of those days where it was kind of like cloudy, rainy, and Tom happened to come out, and as a teenager, I was like, oh, should I say hello? Like, you don't know if you want to say hello. You don't know what you want to do. So I did say hello, and he came out. He had his coat on and everything, and I was just like, hey, Mr. Durkin, nice to meet you. And he was like, nice to meet you, too. And we talked for a few minutes, and I told him that, you know, I really liked his race calls, and one day I was thinking about being in broadcasting. And,
very cool.
And here we are. And his best advice to me was to practice. I won't say what else he said. No, I'm only kidding. He did not say anything else. He just said practice and, you know, keep it together, and one day maybe you will get to be there, and here we are.
And here we are. That's a great story. We look forward to hearing Tom Durkin's call for this year's Belmont Stakes. You can watch the action live on Fox for the first time ever on Saturday, June 10th. Mo Donegal, last year's Belmont Stakes winner. We wonder who will be this year's Belmont Stakes winner. So potential contenders, as we were touching on the Belmont Stakes could turn out to be a very competitive race. The local prep for the Belmont is the Peter Pan. It was won by Arcangelo, who was incredibly game, really fought for it with giving Jenna Antonucci a big win for a horse that had just come off of a maiden score down at Gulfstream.
Yeah, it certainly validated that win with this effort for sure. I really like the way that this horse finished up the race. Those last 3 furlongs, he went on with a pretty nice clip, and he was determined against Bishop's Bay, who was undefeated and the favorite at the time. Like you said, it's also nice to see Jenna Antonucci and the owner pick up a win like this. And I remember looking at him in the paddock, and I was taking notes, and I said to myself, I was like, if he's 10-1, and he's still 10-1, I might go up there and place a wager. When I came upstairs, he was 5-2. I was like, oh, they know. And he ran to his odds, but he was nice and quiet in the paddock. He was taking it in that day. He didn't look all wound up, you know, and he really just, he really ran well. I think at the end of the day, the question is, one, is he really going to run in the Belmont Stakes? It would be nice to see him because he's still developing.
Right. And
to go that 1.5 miles. And there's plenty of good 3-year-old races down the line for him, too. And Jenna's really good at taking care of the horse and putting the horse first.
Very involved with Aftercare as well. So good at looking after our horses throughout their entire career. The horse always comes first, and big congratulations to the team. We'll see who will line up in that Belmont starting gate, but it'll just be chock full of stakes. Pretty much a menu for whatever your appetite would like as far as conditions. We've got turf, we've got dirt, we've got long, we've got short, pretty much all of it.
Yeah, there's something for everybody to like. So come on out here. Join us. Say hello. We don't bite. Most of us anyway.
Absolutely. We hope that you join us for this year's Belmont Stakes. If you're at home, you could watch on Fox. Over at Charlestown, we turn our attention back over to West Virginia. I've had, well, in the last commercial, Paul and I were doing a little karaoke of Take Me Home Country Roads, which you definitely do not want to see. But here's a look at the field for the 6.5 furlong 6 race coming up. It's a $15,000 claiming race for fillies and mares, which have never won 2. 9-5 right now to the outside on the number 10 Bayless Street, especially now that my allergies are killing me and I'm not a great singer anyway. It was not one of my best moments.
I take video and pictures with everything and everybody, and I don't know why I didn't do that. Maybe once the allure wears off, maybe I just will. But for now, I just didn't do it.
You know, I love me some good karaoke. It's a great song to belt.
Listen, we have time before they go to the gate. Do you want to?
No, not now, not now. I need my husband for backup, too. He's really good at that song. 2-1 favorite on Bayless Street off the claim. What do you make of this one's chances?
First off, the claim for Kevin Joy did lose to Cocktail Dreams and Larimore, who'd probably be favorite here if they were running in this race.
Right.
J.D. Acosta's aboard. Outside Post does have tactical speed, and we've seen tonight you do want to be in those first 2 spots to have any shot here, and that's why I think also a horse like the one River Rewards RVF, is going to be a little bit tough, especially if the horse comes back okay. Now, Ronnie Brown does win races, but you have to look at this as he's going from the allowance non-winners of 4, and he ran an okay race, and now he's coming back for 15 2 months later with just 1 work, so you wonder what the story is behind that.
That's
so
a good point.
Inside, outside for me in here, and maybe a little bit of the 2 who's getting bet down. Was a heavy favorite maiden winner last time out, now up in class because really there's no place to go after the 5,000s.
That's a
here.
good
So
point.
you do want to go up to the 12.5 level. Did get faster coming off that break. So we'll see what happens with this horse in here and maybe catch a price as well. You just want horses that are up close tonight.
Yeah, seems to whisper a horse that we had seen running here in New York as a New York bred on the turf. Seems to have found her home over at Charlestown. Let's see if she can build off of that last out maiden win for Anthony Ferrier, who's 26% at the meet. Loading in for the 6, here's Paul Espinosa.
Revere's Minute. Last one to load will be Bayless Street. Right now, co-favorites at 2-1, both River Rewards RVF and Bayless Street. They're in the gate. And they're off. River Rewards RVF from the rail races out for the early lead. Revere's Minute and Bayless Street now come to take that one on, and then comes Seems to Whisper, who will take back into 4th. It's already 4 lengths back to Coffee Bean racing in 5th. Rational Millennial is down at the rail and now takes that spot from her. It's another 3 lengths back to Catalina, and the late running Tisbit is last of them all and a dozen lengths off of the pace duel here. River Rewards RVF in front and hounded by Bayless Street through a 23 and 1 opening quarter for the level and distance. The pace is swift. They head up the backstretch. River Rewards RVF and Bayless Street still 1-2. Another 2 back to Revere's Minute in third. Then comes Seems to Whisper, who's sent along now from fourth. Rational Millennial is fifth. Catalima's been guided to the outside to put in her bid. It's another half a dozen. Back to Coffee Bean and Tisbit still trails. They hit the far turn. Opening half in 47 seconds flat. It's been a testing pace thus far. River Rewards RVF being hounded by Bayless Street. A 3-wide Revere's Minute is there. Seems to Whisper. Stymied in behind horses. Rational Millennial swings wide along with Catalina with 1 furlong to go. Revere's Minute up to put a neck in front. Revere's Minute has the lead. Seems to Whisper trying to split horses out in the center. Catalina's closing in. Inside the final 50 yards is Revere's Minute in front. Revere's Minute to score by a length and a half over Catalina, Rational Millennial, and Seems to Whisper. Final time 1:21. Flat.
Revere's Minute off that win last time out. This mare by Revolutionary picks up another one, and she had a pace duel to run out today.
Yeah, finally a race that fell apart here in Charlestown and ran back to that 60 number. Nothing else on that paper reflected that this horse would run back to that race. Well, guess what? She did.
Was able to build off of that win last time out, got the right kind of trip. More importantly, as we head back over to the Meadowlands, it's time for the Cutler Memorial, the feature of the day, the 1 mile trot. Some really talented runners, including Bella Bellini, a horse that has all kinds of accolades, and rightfully so. She's earned over $2 million in her career.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, what else can you say about this mare? When you take a look at this race that she ran that night in the Breeders' Crown Mare Trot, she's beating the Queen.
Yeah.
She's beating Atlanta in there.
And she was favored over
And she was favored over Atlanta, too. So, you know what? She was 9 for 19 last year, and there weren't many opportunities for her to run against older mares in Grand Circuit racing. There's just not a lot of those opportunities. So she ran against the boys quite a bit. She beat them twice, and she just does it the right way. And I have to, you know, her last race, people are going to hold it against her. She was not cranked up for that race at all. And there's real money on the line tonight. She's going to get a pace to close into, and she's got that wicked kick. She's on her game. Look out.
She's 9-5 right now. The mares have historically fared very well in this race, too, as she will take on the boys. And a mare, as we mentioned, that she's done everything right. And I think it was interesting, as you said, coming back now this season and kind of being able to build off of those races. She's been setting up for a race like this. We'll meet the rest of the field, starting off with the number 1, Venerate.
4-time winner last year. Those were solid stakes tries at the Red Mile. Has some sharp qualifiers to get ready for this. Got the pole position. We'll see first start this year what the White Knight, Brian Sears, can do with Venerate.
Oh, I love it. We've got the nicknames back again tonight. 3-1 on the number 1, Venerate to the inside. Here's the 2, Delayed Hanover.
First time that Jordan Stratton's climbing aboard. Big class test for a horse who's been knocking on the doors in the Open. Did have 5 wins last year. Danced some big stakes dances.
Big price on a $100 bill.
Hasn't been that sharp in the last few times out. Needs to step up to be competitive
Here's
here.
That classy mare. Bella Bellini, your favorite.
Yeah, she's looking around checking things out. What a mare she is. Yeah, like I said, you know, that last race, you could draw a line through it. Real money tonight. She's going to have some kick.
It's Academic, one who's been good recently.
Handled the Open types like he should have at 1-5.
Number 6, Pretender is next.
I like this horse tonight. Handled his business in the New Jersey Maturity. Those were short fields, but backed it up by beaten conditioned rivals last time. Had a big season last year, ready to roll tonight.
Here's the 7, Rattle My Cage, behind Pretender last time.
Did, but closed in 26-3, so has some backlash. Bigger price tonight if you like him.
Incommunicado is a big price.
Didn't do too much the first start off the layoffs. Got work to do to compete with a group like this, but did win 5 times last year.
Yeah, salty competition this evening. Next will be the 9, Ambassador Hanover.
Couldn't get much going versus Hill Exotic. Now the second start off the bench tonight. Got to turn it around pretty quickly, though, to compete with the likes of Bella Bellini and others.
Here's the 10, Hill Exotic.
Won 3 of his last 4 races, including the Open last week. That was a nice run. Fits on paper. The form is good, but the problem is now he's got post 10.
And the 11, Loved by the Masses.
Bionic Man Tim Tetrick got parked through a wicked 26 and 3 opening quarter last time. Gave way late. It was expected. The 2 starts prior were solid. Is in the second tier tonight, so you're at the mercy of who you follow early in trips. So I'd like to know who he's following tonight.
Well, this Trackside Report is brought to you by the Standard Breds of PA. As we head over to Jessica. Jessica, quite the competition for this Cutler Memorial.
It is quite the competition for this Cutler Memorial. This is the one we've been waiting for all night, the $155,000 Arthur Cutler Memorial. It attracted a field of 11 open trotters, including the one lone mare, Bella Bellini. And you guys mentioned this in your pre-race, post-parade. She faced the boys last year plenty of times, and she beat them. And she did it in, nice fashion as well. She loves to track down horses, and she is your 8-5 favorite right now. And if you go to last year, her first couple of starts were in maybe with lesser purse money on the line. They raced her from off of the pace. That's exactly what they did in the Miss Versatility 2 back. She come from off the pace. She put up a 26-3 last quarter, trotted in 52-2 behind Fashion Schooner, who had 3 starts under her belt already. They qualified her again last week. Dexter let her just trot home nicely. She made up plenty of ground there in 53. She gets a good post to work with. The money's on the line tonight. I think all systems will be go here with Bella Bellini. But there's quite a few other nice horses in this race as well. The next horse I'm going to go to is the 5. It's Academic. David Miller, Ronnie Burke team up here. And, this guy danced in all the big dances last year, and he just ran into some trouble trips. I think he was parked the entire mile in that race at Hoosier Park last year. He drew an outside post in the Open Championship race here in November. He left aggressively, and he chased down Ecurity. Now, Ecurity set the stakes record here in the Cutler Memorial last year, 49-1. That is the stakes record. Aki Svanstedt trained and drove him last year. So that's who he tracked down in his last start of the season. He's got 3 starts under his belt this year. He came back first start off of the bench after 1 qualifier post 7, and he made up plenty of ground, 26-1 there, beating 3/4 of a length to finish 3rd. And then he come back with back-to-back wins, once in here at the Meadowlands, and he did it from slightly off the pace, gunning downhill Exotic in 51-2. Then he went back down to Chester last Sunday, sat the pocket early on, then did all the heavy lifting on the front end, was an easy winner in 151-2. So, he's back to the big M. He draws a perfect middle pack post. He's plenty handy off the gate. He's a very versatile horse. He's very easy to drive. So if Purple gets in a position where he needs to take off, I don't see that being any problem, because he can come first over and do it easily as well. And, to go to a horse that's offering a bit of value, that's the 6 Pretender, 14-1 on the board. He's 3 for 3 in 2023. He started his year off with the qualifier behind his stablemate Keg Stand, and It's Academic, and trotted in 53. Then Nancy put him right in that New Jersey Breeders' Maturity. He was a easy winner by 6 lengths first time out in 54. Come back the following week on a sloppy track, cut it again in 53. And then, he was come from off the pace there. He wasn't the favorite. Bradley Cage was a favorite in that race, and he came first over, took over the lead there near the 3/4 pole, and put up a nice 151-4 mile, just a tick off of his lifetime mark. He loves the Big M. He gets along great here in New Jersey. This is, quite the test for him tonight, but you can't knock sharpness of a horse even on the way up in class. And you're getting a nice 14-1 price on him. Just want to touch on a few others while I have a few minutes in here. Is the 7 Rattle My Cage. Now, Aki Svanstedt usually puts 1 qualifier into his horses. He gets them into a race, and they're usually pretty good off of the bench, second start off the bench. We saw him win with Special Way earlier on in the night. She's a Dan Patch Award winner, Hamiltonian and Hamiltonian Oaks eligible. Up Your Deo was a huge $84 winner we saw in race 7, I believe, from post 11, and that was second start off the bench for him. So, don't knock the way that these guys have been racing. He sends out the 7, 8, and 9 in here, all making their second starts off the bench. Ambassador Hanover, Incommunicado, both come out of that open trot here a couple weeks ago. Rattle My Cage, that non-winners of 20,000 last 4, and he was airborne in the stretch when he was able to get fed racetrack. So 26-3, 52-mile for him last time out. Took last week out. He's scoring down quite aggressively, so I feel like that means Aki's probably going to be leaving the gate with him here from post 7, and there's a couple of horses to his inside that can leave the gate as well. The 1 is also taking a significant amount of money, 9-2, Venerate. He was a Mohawk Million winner in his 2-year-old season. He took a lifetime mark here at the Big M last year in his 4-year-old season, 151-1. He debuts for the Marcus Melander barn He had 2 qualifiers. That first qualifier, he sat the pocket. Bella Bellini won that qualifier from off the pace. Marcus Melander told someone who did an article on the U.S. Trotting that he looked very good going, or very strong crossing the wire. Didn't love his gait. He lost his shoe. He come back, won that last qualifier by a touchdown there, 51-2. So he debuts in 2023 for a new barn. He looks very good out on the racetrack as well. But I just can't go against Bella Bellini. It's 4 over 5-6 in the Arthur Cutler Memorial, the one we've been rating for. We'll send it back to you guys.
The one we certainly have been waiting for, the big one of the evening. And favoritism now actually shifting over a little bit to It's Academic. Paul, favoritism going between that one and Bella Bellini. I know you have some interest in Pretender.
Yeah, Pretender's too big of a price right now at 14-1. And I know those were short fields in the New Jersey majority, but you know what? Backed that race up by coming back and beating conditioned rivals, and that 20,000 is basically one step below the open at the Meadowlands. So he ran against decent horses, and you know, the 151-4 is a good time. And I just think tonight he'll probably be in that third or fourth place spot, you know, and hopefully has a helmet to cover and comes running. Make no mistake about it. The 2 horses that are taking money in here, both Bella Bellini and It's Academic, both legitimate horses. A lot of people see It's Academic and they see that he ran against EQRED, who set the record in this race last year, and also some of the other dances that this horse has danced against Good Company. And Bella Bellini, as we said, there's nothing else you can say about her. She's taken over as one of the best mares that are out there right now.
Pretty cool to see. As you mentioned, beat Atlanta at the end of last year. A mare who's just been really sensational, been very fun to watch, too. We'll see if she can pick up this big win in the Cutler. I wanted to touch on the post positions here, as Jessica touched on 2 races back. We saw a number 11 win at a big price. Loved by the Masses will be in post 11. That means that he will start from the second tier, so behind the first group of 10.
Right. So the Meadowlands puts 10 horses across for their starting gate. Anybody after that starts in the second tier. In this case with the 11, I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure that you can follow who you'd like. So it depends on your style of horse and who you're leaving. If there was a 12th horse in this field, though, they would have to start behind the 1 and the 2.
Need to get a trip from there.
Yes, absolutely. You're at the mercy of who you're following at that point.
We'll see how that plays out for Love by the Masses, but it's all about the mare, Bella Bellini. Can she do it here in the Cutler Memorial as they start to line up for the feature of the night at the Meadowlands? Here's Ken Workington.
$100 bill. Second tier for Loved by the Masses. Here they come. Often trotting in the Cutler. Hill Exotic blasts off with big-time speed. Rattle My Cage. It's Academic is put in play third into the first turn. Venerate with early speed on the inside. Bella Bellini just floated away in 5th position. Delayed Hanover 6th on the inside as they round the turn. Then comes Loved by the Masses. Parked out is Pretender trying to go up on the outside. Followed by, on the inside, Incommunicato near the rear of the field. And then it's Ambassador Hanover. An early miscue, costly $100 bills. The distant trailer 26-4. Contested opening quarter there. Rattle My Cage. Akis Fonstead rocks to the top here. Rattle My Cage to lead it. Hill Exotic back in that second spot. It's Academic is trotting third. Venerate is fourth on the inside. Delayed Hanover is fifth. Bella Bellini launches an uncovered bid. Loved by the Masses to follow that one. And then it's Incommunicato on the inside with Pretender at the rear of the field. $100 bill caught the rear of the field. And then it's Ambassador Hanover 54-4. Pretty lively clip here as It's Academic brushes to the top for the Buckeye. Dave Miller. It's Academic going for 3 in a row. Leads it now as they round the far turn. It's Hill Exotic back in that second spot. Venerate tries it first up now. Third on the outside. No racing room for Rattle My Cage, who gets shuffled. It is Bella Bellini setting it up from second over, but has some work to do. Delayed Hanover also in heavy traffic as they trot for home. It's Academic 122-4 in the stretch of the Arthur J. Cutler Memorial. And they come after and get to It's Academic. Game first over. Venerate and the White Knight on the inside. Hill Exotic with late trot between horses. Rattle My Cage. Venerate almost home at 7-2. Venerate and the White Knight in the Cutler. Then It's Academic. Then Rattle My Cage and Hill Exotic. Venerate in 150-1.
Venerate, the winner of the Cutler Memorial, and now I know who the White Knight is.
Brian Sears getting the job done with this horse. First time running this year off those qualifiers. And the one good thing about this horse, from the first qualifier to the second qualifier to the Cutler tonight, this horse got progressively faster. He's had a really good trip tonight, kicked on, and we're going to see what happens as this horse moves on this year in this division.
Unfortunately, there on the outside, you see just a bit of a flat effort from Bella Bellini.
Bella Bellini was a little flat tonight, and really no excuses, just a mercy at the trip. Maybe she just didn't have it tonight. And the same with Pretender. Pretender never saw the pylons early on for me either. So you have to give it to Venerate coming off the break to do it, and a nice run too on the inside there from I do believe it was Hill Exotic, and then It's Academic still ended up running second. And you know what? It's Academic ran a very good race too.
It's Academic kind of made that middle move too.
Yeah, made that brush to the top for Dave Miller and kicked clear a little bit, but in the end, they're getting a little tired late tonight. So I wonder if that's a deal with the racetrack tonight too, and the weather that we've had.
The number 1, though, Venerate, gets the win in the Cutler Memorial. Brian Sears, the driver. Congratulations to the connections. Bring you prices, reactions, and a little bit more of a recap of the Cutler Memorial. When we come back, stay with us on America's Day at the Races.
Marks the 10th celebration of Penn National's signature event, Penn Mile Night. Friday, June 2nd at Hollywood Casino at Penn National Racecourse. There are 4 Pennsylvania-bred stakes, each with a $100,000 purse, plus the $150,000 Penn Oaks. It's all capped off by the $400,000 Grade 2 Penn Mile. Friday, June 2nd at Penn National. First post, 5 p.m. For more, go to PAHPBA.com.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you by Hillendale at Alapa, where the obscure becomes obvious. Over at the Meadowlands, the Cutler Memorial in the books, that 1 mile trot, and some very talented trotters lining up. It went to the number 1, Venerate, with a big run on the outside.
Yeah, steamrolled first over and flipped off the cover. Just decided to run them down tonight. Had his mind on running. First start off the break, off the couple of qualifiers. First time for Marcus Melander, too. And the White Knight Brian Sears, happy for the connections to get this done. And it's the first Grand Circuit event of the year, the biggest trotting event of the year, kicking things off. And it's a good start to the season.
Yeah, plenty more action to come for sure. As see Jessica doing the trophy presentation, which looks like a bundle of carrots.
Yeah, I think
pretty cool.
I think Venerate's gonna luck out here, right?
I think so. If you're a horse, that's a dream.
You want to send some up to set?
Yeah, I could use a little late night snack. $9.60 winner over It's Academic, who is 7-5, kind of made that middle room, holding on for second. Rattle My Cage, as Jessica had touched on with that big warm-up, was aggressively handled, and then after some other horses made a move, kind of got stuck with nowhere to go.
Yeah, and you know what, though? Still showed that closing kick no matter what, and definitely, you know, relied on his back class tonight. It's going to be interesting, though, to see where this division goes from here. And it's going to be interesting to see where Bella Bellini goes from here as well.
A little wide open now as far as the division is concerned.
Yeah, and you know, as the summer moves on and the races move on, you'll start to see more of these horses gain some more of their form too and steam.
More from Charlestown in West Virginia when we come back. We've got a lot more live racing still to come. The Saturday feature at Charlestown after this quick timeout.
On a perfect day, there is no finer place in all of sports.
Nerves, excitement, and anticipation.
Than beautiful, truly stunning. For the Breeders' Cup World Championships.
Purple Haze Standard Bred Adoption Program in Oxford, New York was created in 2018 by Wanda Palacini to provide training to transition for finding homes and new careers for horses. Horses are started with groundwork and then ridden in an arena before moving on. Horses at Purple Haze are then evaluated and adopted out based on abilities and temperament. If you have a horse that you care about, or if you are looking for a great pleasure horse, contact Purple Haze Standard Bred Adoption Program at 518-669-2715.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 7 millionaires. With over 10% stakes performers, his recent top runners include Tarabi, placed in the Grade 1 Spinaway and Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, Grade 2 winner Plum Ali, plus these standout performers. A proven value sire, First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
There's a big, bold, beautiful world waiting to be explored by you and your friends, of course. But not just any friends, the best of friends. The kind of friends who let you do you. Because in this world, it's positive vibes only. And when you get in the zone here, you stay a while. These aren't just good times, they're the best of times. And your time is now. So come explore. Resorts World.
You're watching America's Day at the Races. Thanks so much for sticking with us. We saw a nice stake race over at the Meadowlands. More on that in a moment. Back over at Charlestown. Time for the feature there. An allowance 6.5 furlongs for the fillies and mares, which have not won 2 races. Even money on Change the World right now. The number 7 for Jeff Ronco coming out of a stake try. We'll meet the field though, kicking things off with the number 1, Cousin Winnie.
Makes me think of Winnie Cooper from the Wonder Years. Stretching out after that 4.5 furlong race, going second off a layoff tonight.
Flattened last time out. Here's the 2, though, Timely Secret.
Timely Secret has run not too badly in some allowance races. Just some slow figures, but you get a big price.
Second for this one at this level, Time to Get Up.
Time to Get Up coming off a short break for Angelo Jackson.
Here's the number 4, Breadman's Rosebud.
Breadman's Rosebud, that's the horse I was talking about. See, I totally missed the 3 in the post break. That's the Angelo Jackson, so just scratch that and put that with this horse.
That's okay. It's been a long night. Here's the 5, Bays Castle.
Bays Castle ran a good second in that claiming race last time out, steps up into the allowance company again.
She's my buddy off a maiden win.
And did it in a rainstorm, and her best races have come on a wet track, and that's what she's getting tonight.
Yeah, good point. Here's Change the World, your favorite.
Tried that stakes last time out. First off the layoff, flattened out expected. Second should be better, and she should be better off for that last race.
And the number 8, Hessica.
And Hessica, you know, returned off the layoff going 4.5, and that was totally a prep because that's short for her. So she finished up well, stretches out to the 6.5, and she'll be a handful for the favorite if she's ready.
And that filly by Juba, who has pretty much a cult following on Twitter. Back over at the Meadowlands at the Cutler Memorial. Venerate the winner. Let's go to Jessica.
Thanks, Acacia. Standing by with winning trainer Marcus Melander. Venerates, that's a new lifetime mark here, 150-1. Now, he was a newer acquisition to your barn back in November. You bought him out of the sale. I know he's got some stud, acquisitions, but when you bought him as a racehorse, how did he come into your barn?
Well, we put together a group, and like you said, he had some nostalgia value if he wouldn't have made it as a racehorse for us. But, you know, he showed some potential, like already as a 2-year-old. I mean, he won the Mohawk Million and were the Dan Patch Award winner. Then he didn't came back as good as 3, of course, and maybe it was a little bit disappointed for those guys that owned him before, of course. But so we bought him, we put him in our program, and he's been training great all winter, and he got 2 qualifiers here, and yeah, he was ready tonight.
Let's go back to that first qualifier. I read in an article, you thought he looked strong crossing the wire, but you weren't in love with his gait, but he lost his shoe.
Yeah, he lost a shoe. I don't know if that was the whole truth, but he lost a shoe, and he looked like strong over the wire, but his gait wasn't 100%. So we did some adjustment, changed some shoeing, and second qualifier was great, actually. He went 51 and 2, and it was track was good that day, but it wasn't that fast. It wasn't that tight that it could be. So it was a really good qualifier. So I had hopes for him, you know, going into this race, but you never know, you know, racing against Phila like Bella Bellini, when she gets the right trip, she's a really fast horse. And he's a fast horse, but not as fast as her, but he's definitely very strong.
What were your thoughts coming into the race? I know the rail can be a bit of a tricky position sometimes, plus with the trailer, but you had to be liking the way things were shaping up front. There were plenty of lead changes heading towards the half.
Yeah, I think Brian was pretty confident in the horse as well. He said he was going to push out of there and see what happens, you know. And like I said, he's a very strong horse, so he's definitely had no problem going first over, and it definitely helped that they were going at it there in the front.
What's next for him?
We'll see. You know, his next stakes race is in the beginning of July here, so he probably may be racing an open here in 2-3 weeks.
Nice job.
Thank you.
We'll send it back to you guys.
Trainer Marcus Melander with Venerate, a nice purchase, and now winner of the Cutler Memorial back over at Charlestown. Again, the feature here tonight, Change the World, currently your favorite after trying West Virginia stakes spread competition last time out.
And probably better off for it tonight. That first start off the layoff, and did go to the 7 furlongs there, kind of flattened out if you watch the race, made a move around the turn, was kind of like in the 3-4 path, and then just when they hit the stretch, just kind of flattened out. Tonight gets back into the allowance company where she's been competitive, and she doesn't necessarily need the lead in here if anybody decides to go, but she can go and cut it if she has to.
Yeah, it was a pretty salty spot to come back in off of a 4+ month layoff. Even money on that one right now. Hessica, to her outside, is the second choice at 2-1.
And Hessica's last race, I think you can kind of draw a line through. 4.5 is not her distance. It was totally a prep race. It looked like that to me as well. She did finish up well. She goes the 6.5 tonight. And if she's ready off that prep race, she could be a little bit of a handful for the horse that's right inside of her.
And she was off of a 7-month layoff coming into that start last time out. We'll see what she does from the outside as they load in for the 7th feature time at Charlestown. Here's Paul Espinosa.
And in. They're in the gate. And they're off. Hessica outbroke Change the World, but nobody outbroke Time to Get Up, who races out for the early lead. Cousin Winnie is away in second, and now Change the World rushes up now to claim that third position. Timely Secret moves through it down to the inside, and after braking alertly, Hessica is taken back into 5th. It's another 3 lengths back to Breadman's Rosebud racing in 6th, followed by She's My Buddy Buddy, and Bay's Castle is last of them all, about a dozen lengths off of the speed of Time to Get Up. 24 seconds flat for that opening quarter time. They're a half mile from home, and it's Time to Get Up running the point. Cousin Winnie is parked on the 2 path, stalking in second, and then comes Timely Secret in third. Change the World is in 4th. Hessica's to her outside, racing in the clear, might have to go wide around that far turn with less than 3 furlongs to go. Breadman's Rosebud is next, and then another 8 lengths back to Bay's Castle and She's My Buddy Buddy. A gapped out field heads into the far turn, all chasing the speed of Time to Get Up, who's well clear with less than a quarter of a mile to go. The opening half in 47 and 1. Time to Get Up, trying to run this field off their feet. In front by 2. Cousin Winnie going to take a crack at her. Hessica trying to close in. Change the World 1 paced. Up the rail, Timely Secret. Inside the final furlong. Time to Get Up, trying to finish the job. Cousin Winnie up to claim the lead. Cousin Winnie takes over from Time to Get Up. Hessica's in third. It's Cousin Winnie and Rashawn Latchman to win it by 3.5. Time to Get Up held second, then Hessica and Change the World in 1:20.
Enjoy a group outing this summer at Saratoga Racecourse. Reservations are now available for the climate-controlled paddock suite accommodating 80 guests and for large-scale corporate gatherings at the rail at the 1863 Club. Head down the stretch to the Stella Artois Spa verandas for groups of 50 or tailgate at the turn with a carload of friends. For casual outdoor gatherings under cover featuring buffet lunch with Prosecco offerings, enjoy the Mianetto Easy Goer. Visit NYRA.com/Saratoga to book your group outing today.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. Apologies for some technical difficulties there. We have race 10 from the Meadowlands coming up. It's a 1 mile pace, 5-year-olds and under. Up here, 6 to 5 right now in the 6, El Rey.
Legit. This horse won the fall final 4 in 149.2, which was a good way to end the year. Qualifiers have been sharp coming back. He won the last one by a county block. He's been getting faster doing it. They're expecting big things from him this year in this division. It all kicks off tonight, so we'll see what 2023 brings for El Rey.
Outside him, the number 7, Blue Hunt, a horse that's been knocking on the door recently.
He's been solid in those 2 starts this year. He was down at the racing in the Revere, ran second there, and then came back, ran second, just missed by a neck last week. He'll look to keep it rolling this week. He's got to look from the outside.
A little attention on the board at 7 to 2, 6 to 5 on your favorite, though. Let's check in with Jessica.
Thanks, Acacia. Race 10 up next. It is a short field of 7 we have in here, but we have a lot of pace-eligible horses that we'll see back on the show on July the 15th. And we're going to run into a case where we ran into last night when we saw Christchurch win in 149.3. It's the same instance here. I do like El Rey. You're getting 6 to 5. I figured he would be bet down quite a bit after they put the pedal to the metal in that second qualifier. 150 and 2, 26 flat by 12.5 lengths there, and against horses who were prepping for a couple of nice races as well. So we saw this guy in a big way here in the fall at the Meadowlands in the Governor's Cup. 25 and 4 in the elimination, 26 and 3 in the final for a lifetime mark of 149 and 2. Tony said he's come back really nicely as a 3-year-old. He wintered well. Obviously that second qualifier in 50 and 2 much faster than that first one. It'll be an instance of, you know, how the race kind of shapes up and how hard Scotty Z wants to test his horse tonight, because there is a long stakes season ahead of these guys. But I do have confidence in them. I think, you know, they're going to try and work a bit into him to get him ready for those stakes races coming up. You're getting 6 to 5 on him right now. Next, go to the 7, Blue Hunt. Erica Chartrand trains here. Tim Tetrick picks up the drive, and he was second behind It's My Show last time out, and he did all the heavy lifting in there. He cut the mile, and I like coming back with horses that were speed tried. You're getting 4 to 1 on him. He was second in the Paul Revere behind Caviar Scoutlands, a third start off the bench for this one. A bit more of a test here tonight, but he's been showing us that he's got really nice tools, even being beaten in those 2 starts. He's got 3 wins from 12 starts last year. We saw him here in the kindergarten race very well. He was second behind Blue Bet. He was very good that night as well. I think he likes the big track. It'll be interesting to see. Just click down to 9-2. I also give a little bit of love on my ticket to the one for Once in My Life. Noel Daly trains here, teams up with driver Andy McCarthy. We saw him here 2 and 3 back in the SRF 3-year-old Colton Gelding Pace Series, and that was a series designed for horses who didn't get a ton of starts at the age of 2 to get a few miles in them over the mile track before their stakes season. 5 starts last year, no wins. So I think this is a perfect case of, you know, showing, getting a little bit of education into a horse at the age of 2 before coming back at the age of 3. He qualified in against older horses here back in March, showed up in the SRF there twice, both second behind All Alone once and Ants Marching the next time. After putting up a 25-2 last quarter, we see speed at both ends of the mile from an outside post. So went over to Miami Valley on May the 6th and was at the pocket there, and a nice winner in the first leg of their Ohio Sire Stakes. A nice winner by 2 and 50-1. So dropping down in class, getting 7-2 on him. It's going to be a 6 over the 7-1 for me here in race 10. We'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Jessica, thank you. The 1 mile pace for 5-year-olds and under Are you on the favorite here, Paul?
I'm on the 1 for Once in My Life. I like that 150-1. It was sharp with the win out in the Ohio Sire Stakes over at Miami Valley. Act Fast is a nice horse that he beat. That was after running second, like Jessica said, twice in the SRF series. He's got the rail tonight, so I definitely think at 7-2, he's a play in here. I can't argue anything with your favorite, El Rey. The body of work that this horse has done, the fact that they're bringing him back off that qualifier that he ran very well in, and it is a long stakes season, so you wonder if tonight they're going to have him revved up to go, or it's just going to be a little bit of an more of an education experience for him out there.
6-5 on El Rey, trying to... Excuse me.
I'll pick it up if you'd like me. Strange things happen on Saturday nights here at America's Day at the races. I'll just take over now for the minute. It's okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
There's so much pollen.
It's all right. I'm shedding pollen as they come to the gate for the 10th race. In the 5-year-old and under, 6-5 on El Rey, your favorite for Scotty Z and Tony Alagna. Ken Workington with the call.
On the 7 Blue Hunt. Field for race 10 on gate to start the late pick 4. Here they come. They're off. El Rey, Blue Hunt from the outside. Ants Marching for Once in My Life. Leaves sharply on the rail and goes for the lead for Andrew McCarthy for Once in My Life. Into the first turn, tracked by Vici on the inside second. So Ants Marching is seated in third, and El Rey drives up fourth on the outside to the quarter. Then it's Taste of Honey on the rail with Save America, and Blue Hunt is the trailer. For Once in My Life flashes by the opening quarter. Here comes El Rey to take charge now with Scott Ciron in 28 seconds. El Rey in his 3-year-old debut to the top here, took 3/8 of a mile to clear. For Once in My Life now, pockets up. It's Vici third across the back stretch. Ants Marching fourth on the inside. Then Taste of Honey, followed by Save America and Blue Hunt. There's single file at the half here. El Rey at 4-5 fronts them. It's El Rey in full control. For Once in My Life in the pocket spot, and Vici is third, half up in 56-4. Edging to the outside was Ants Marching, staying in though. Now to the outside, Taste of Honey comes uncovered. Save America to follow that one. Blue Hunt has to pass them all, but is gapping at the back as they are midway on the final turn. El Rey out of the pocket comes for Once in My Life to come after him now. Taste of Honey is third on the outside, looking to rally. Dropping back there was Vici. And up and around that one came Save America with Late Pace. So now it's For Once in My Life taking it to El Rey. These two stride for stride. 124 and 3 for 3/4. For Once in My Life on the outside, right by and drawing clear from El Rey. And then it's back to Taste of Honey in third and Save America. For Once in My Life at 5-2. For Andrew McCarthy, a decisive score here. For Once in My Life wins again, and he's wrapped up over El Rey. Then Taste of Honey. Then it was close, either Vici or Ants Marching. 151.
For Once in My Life, Foals the mild upset here. Nice call, Paul. You're giving out all kinds of winners tonight.
Some nights you
I'm
got
just sneezing.
Yeah, some nights you got it, some nights you don't. But really, the last time out, I really thought benefited this horse from that 150-1 in that Ohio Sire Stakes Series, and Act Fast is a good horse. And he beat a good horse here tonight in El Rey, who ran a good second off the layoff. And El Rey is going to be better for this as we go forward in stakes season.
El Rey aggressively handled, just run down late by For Once in My Life, who kicked on nicely towards the end of this race. Andrew McCarthy, the driver there. Any nickname for him?
AMAC, I think. I think it's AMAC, I think.
I can see that. All right. For Once in My Life, though, the winner of that 10th race, the 1 mile pace for 5-year-olds and under. There he is. We'll get his picture taken today. Congratulations to the Connections. Bring you prices and more live racing in a bit. 1-6, your favorite, defeated in the 10th. We'll talk a little bit more about Hall of Fame trainer Todd Pletcher. Won last year's Belmont Stakes with Mo Donegal. He seems to have the key figured out with how to win the Belmont. They do it again this year.
The Cross Country Pick 5 combines the best racing from New York with top races from around the country in one bet. Find it in your track menu and play this weekend. Races and free PPs posted at NYRA.com/crosscountry.
Racelens is the most in-depth product in horse racing, with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. Racelens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
Ever dream of owning your own racehorse? How would you like to get in the winner's circle? With the #1 harness racing partnership in the U.S., VIP Stakes. There's nothing like the thrill of your horse coming down the stretch. To find out more, call VIP Stable at 877-VIP-WIN-1 or visit us on the web at www.vipstable.com. Turning horse racing fans into racehorse owners. Be a winner.
Now more than ever, it's time to get with the program. When shopping for your next race prospect, consider that New York breds start with an advantage. Our New York breds run for serious green. At Saratoga Race Meet, New York bred maidens run for up to $88,000. New York bred allowance horses run for up to $100,000. And New York bred owners can collect awards of up to $20,000 per horse per race. So get back with the program. Seriously.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Malice on the outside. Orb is third, 3 lengths behind them. And then it's Revolutionary. And farther back, the filly, Unlimited Budget. They're entering the final furlong with Palace Malice to catch. Palace Malice by 2.5 lengths. And then Oxbow and Orb was sputtering late in the game. Revolutionary down inside. And they're coming down to the finish. And it will be Palace Malice.
Palace Malice in the 2013 Belmont Stakes. Todd Pletcher certainly knows how to win the Belmont, along with Rags to Riches and Taproot and last year's victor, Mo Donegal. 4 wins in the Belmont, not to mention plenty of horses that have finished well in the money.
Yeah, he likes running in his own backyard with his horses, and he
Don't blame
performs
him.
well all the time. And I loved Palace Malice, too. Went on to win the Jim Dandy that year.
Absolutely, really talented horse. Now a sire as well. Here's a look at Todd Pletcher's Belmont Stakes wins. There he is with the Belmont Stakes trophy. We'll see if he can pick up another win this year in the Belmont Stakes at his home track. But for Hall of Fame trainer Todd Pletcher, the success that he's had on the racetrack, not only in the big races, but in day-to-day as well, was no surprise for those closest to him. And for them, it was only a matter of time until he was recognized.
We was at La Mesa Park in New Mexico, and he was 8 years old, and they had a horse sale there, yearling sale. Todd said, "Dad, this lady wants to give me a horse. Her husband bought this horse out of the sale for $800, and she's going to give it away." He said, "Dad, this is a nice little horse. He's correct. Can I have him?" We took him and we broke him, and the first time we ran him for 25,000 claimant. They claimed the horse. He won, and he had 36,000 in the bank. And I said, "That's a good start on your college education right there."
I have never in my life been known except, "Oh, that's Todd Pletcher's mother." I have no identity. I'm just Todd Pletcher's mother.
Todd Pletcher had the work ethic, he had the energy, he was articulate, and I guess I could say he's pretty handsome too. But the big thing was he was a damn good horseman.
And Lucas must be proud of you people. I don't care how the
He is. We all saw him here at Belmont, and you can see that he's sort of taking pride in the fact that most of the guys that have worked for him are doing pretty well.
I used to say, "I'm going to have a name for you." You know, like all these big people have names, and, you know, Marvelous this, and the assassin and this. I said, "You're El Duro." He said, "What does that mean?" I said, "El Duro is the person that is the tough one, the hardest one. The one that, like, if it's a group of people there and you point to them and say, that guy, he's El Duro."
Obviously, he's a very unique guy. He's hands-on on everything. You try to go into the computer, believe me, it's not going to work.
You know, Johnny and I were sort of coming along at the same time, so it just sort of evolved where Johnny was on the rise and our stable was growing.
The Shadow, Lightstown, Uncle Mo, English Channel, forward, alley. Stay thirsty. Alice Malice, Quality Road, Left Bank, Cross Traffic, Lawyer Ron, wait a while. And it's going to be a filly in the Belmont.
To me, Rags to Riches was always the most exciting and funnest win that we've had. The Derby with Super Saver was almost like a relief. With Always Dreaming, we really felt like we had a huge chance, and it was extra special to win it with Johnny.
After all these races that we had won together, he had won the Derby with somebody else, I had won the Derby with somebody else. It felt right. It felt really, really right.
We've had a lot of starters in the Derby. I think we've had 59. But one thing I'm proud of is I think 29 of those have gone on to win stake races after the Kentucky Derbies.
And it's a vintage performance by Vino.
All the grade ones, the champion horses, the number of wins, the money earned, 14 training titles at Saratoga. And he's won 14 in 25 years.
The Lucas organization instilled early on is it's a team effort. I've been fortunate to have staff that has been with me for a long time and a good portion of the 25 years that's taken to get to this point. Without them, you can't make it work, and I also appreciate that some of them who have worked for me have gone on to do very well on their own. So Wayne Lucas has a pretty impressive family tree. Our branch has done pretty well on its own also.
The one thing I contribute to Todd's success is he's always known what he wanted to be, and Todd was a type that anything he set his mind to, he could do.
The first text I sent to him was to Todd and Tracy, congratulating both of them, because it's an amazing team effort. Tracy's involved in the business. If Todd works 20 hours a day, she probably works 21 hours a day. She deserves as much credit as he does.
It's hard because it's a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifices. He always separates one with the other one. You know, his family's family and business is business.
There's some games that I missed, and there's some parties that I missed, and there's some school events that I missed that, you know, I wish I could have back. But on the flip side of that, I think the one thing that we get in this industry is the family can also share in a lot of the stuff that's going on. So, you know, the kids were able to spend summers working at the barn, and they were able to come in for the Derby and go to the big races. You know, it's not too often that your kids can come to your job, come to your office, and then share some of the big moments as well.
Hall of Fame trainer Todd Pletcher, a tremendous career and one that he's still building off of. I kind of miss Todd's goatee days, though. You know, he got very superstitious about the goatee there for a while.
Talking about that, how that was like peak Todd. Like he was very superstitious and he just wanted to have it on and just felt it was helping him.
I know. That
Give
was
you that mojo.
during Always Dreaming time in the Kentucky Derby. But as mentioned, Todd Pletcher with 4 wins in the Belmont Stakes already, and he could have a big chance with a horse that ever since I saw him debut, Paul, this is a Belmont Stakes horse, Tappet Trice. He's a gray Tappet, so he's a little goofy mentally. That we've seen. He's a horse that kind of takes himself out of the race. He was left with a lot to do for the Kentucky Derby, potentially pointing towards the Belmont. And I think going 1.5 miles at Big Sandy is something he is going to love.
Yeah, I think so as well. You look at his build, and like you said, he's got that little goofy influence in him from being a Tappet. But when you look at him, and you look at the way he runs, you would think being here and the distance would be his friend just based on the way he moves as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And he has been a little bit better about it. I mean, even towards the beginning of his career, you could see Luis Saez, his regular rider, would be very intentional about dropping him back and kind of taking him out to the outside because he seems like a type of horse that really resents the kickback. And he's gotten better mentally. I thought the Bluegrass, one of his best races, again, just left with a lot to do in the Derby. I think if he goes to the Belmont, we'll see a better race.
Yeah, and also with any maturity that comes along out of those races, you know, as we get more forward towards the summer, they all grow up. So they all start to find their niche. And Tappet Trice, I was on him going into the Derby. It was two Phils and him for me. So I almost got one there.
Yes,
didn't get the other.
Phils ran a huge race in the Derby. We'll see if Tappet Trice can take the Belmont Stakes to potentially give Todd Pletcher his 5th win in the Belmont. Here is the Belmont Stakes Day schedule. As far as graded stakes, everything you could possibly wish for.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody could not love this day. You've got short races, long races, races on the grass, tons of grade 1 races, and a lot of stars will come out and play in those races.
And the Met Mile, as you mentioned, the Metropolitan, a race that always attracts some super talented horses. You get some sprinters trying to stretch out, some horses cutting back to the mile distance, and just always one that's so exciting. We turn our attention now back over to Charlestown, race number 8 coming up next. West Virginia breds in the spotlight. It's a maiden claiming for it, the fillies and mares sprinting, going 6.5 furlongs. We'll talk a little bit more about it after this break on America's Day at the Races.
On a perfect day, there is no finer place in all of sports.
Nerves, excitement, and anticipation.
Than beautiful, truly stunning. For the Breeders' Cup World Championships.
Purple Haze Standard Bred Adoption Program in Oxford, New York was created in 2018 by Wanda Palacini to provide training to transition for finding homes and new careers for horses. Horses are started with groundwork and then ridden in an arena before moving on. Horses at Purple Haze are then evaluated and adopted out based on abilities and temperament. If you have a horse that you care about, or if you're looking for a great pleasure horse, contact Purple Haze Standard Bred Adoption Program at 518-669-2715.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 7 millionaires. With over 10% stakes performers, his recent top runners include Tarabi, placed in the Grade 1 Spinaway and Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, Grade 2 winner Plum Ali, plus these standout performers. A proven value sire, First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
There's a big, bold, beautiful world waiting to be explored by you and your friends, of course. But not just any friends, the best of friends. The kind of friends who let you do you. Because in this world, it's positive vibes only. And when you get in the zone here, you stay a while. These aren't just good times, they're the best of times. And your time is now. So come explore. Resorts World.
And here's commentator turning for home in the Whitney with a 3-length lead. On the far outside, Student Council trying to reel him in, but time is running up. There's less than a furlong to go, and it's commentator well clear. Followed by Student Council, and here's commentator to win the Whitney again.
Commentator in the 2008 Whitney, a super talented horse, that now spends his days at Old Friends Cabin Creek just outside downtown Saratoga. A tremendous place. They do such wonderful work there. If you hadn't had a chance to go and visit over at Old Friends, absolutely have to do so. But always fun to look back on commentators winning the Whitney. Nick Zito in the winner's circle.
I was just going to say that. There's Nick peeking in the winner's circle, checking in. Love it.
The commentator will be part of the Big Apple Showcase Day on Monday. Again, racing on Monday for Memorial Day. And I love these days, Paul, where it's kind of like a Breeders' Cup almost for the New York Reds. You have something for everybody.
I used to love this day growing up. It was literally one of my favorite days. And because not only the New York Reds were in the spotlight, but I loved seeing that you'd have horses shipped in too. You'd have them come in from Finger Lakes. It was a cool day to spend at the track, and you'd have vendors and everybody else. So you'd have a really good time.
We're looking forward to it, that's for sure. Loading in for the nightcap, the 8th at Charlestown, maiden claiming for the West Virginia Breds. Any thoughts?
I'm going to take a shot. Oh, well, actually, I just noticed that Cloud Mover scratched. So you know what? I'm going to take a shot now instead with the number 9 bank card.
I like it. Loading in 9 or 10?
10. No,
10.
the 10.
10
the 10
bank card. All right,
Sorry.
best of luck. 11-1, your favorite, the 7 Juju on to beat. 8-5 as they load in for race 8 at Charlestown in the nightcap. Here's Paul Espinosa with the call.
Sunset Queen and Juju on the beat have gone in. Looks like we're going to have to adjust the numbers atop the starting gate here to reflect the late scratch that came in for the 4 Just Have Faith. So going to be a brief delay here.
A late scratch at Charlestown, so they have unloaded the horses that were loaded into the gate. The number 4 Just Have Faith, a late scratch. So it looks like what they're doing is just moving the 1, 2, and 3 over a little bit, so there'll be a little bit more space inside, and then they'll load in the rest of the field again.
Yeah, they have to move them over, just like me forgetting my picks. And I didn't know who I was playing. So, yeah, I'm going to give Bank Card a little shot in here. Listen, 9-5 on the 7's a little hard to take. I mean, this horse has had many, many chances and still hasn't broken the maiden yet. 0 for 17, 6 seconds. And then you look at the money that the 3 is taking in here, too. Cloud Mover.
Rashawn Latchman's having a good day.
He's having a big night. Maybe I should latch on to Latchman.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens here. This horse ran for 12-5 last time out. Was soundly beaten in that spot. It's another one that's a closer, though. I just want to see a little bit of speed in this race.
We'll see how it shakes out. The nightcap from Charlestown loading back in after that late scratch of the 4. Just Have Faith. We go back to Paul Espinosa.
Here's Tap Tap, Only Romance, and the last one in will be Bank Card. Co-9-5 favorites, Cloud Mover and Juju on to beat. Bank Card moves up and in. They're in the gate. And they're off in the nightcap at Charlestown. Cloud Mover hustled out of there. To take the early lead, Lady Gangster sent through at the rail trying to hold that position, and Juju on the beat moves through to secure clear sailing in that third spot. Bank Card caught 4 wide into that turn. Laura's Grand is down at the inside and saving ground. Only Romance just behind her. And then comes Sunset Queen racing in some traffic there. Another 2 back to the gray Trace Estate, and then half a dozen more to tap the trailer. They head past the half-mile pull, opening quarter in 24 and 1. Lady Gangster comes on through to take the lead. Cloud Mover is now sitting in second. It's another 2 lengths back to Laura's Grand in third. Juju on the beat, out in the clear from fourth, with 3 furlongs left to go. 4 more to Bank Card, who has to pick it up from there. Only Romance down at the rail. And then comes Sunset Queen. 3 more to Tap, who's underway from the back of the pack. And Trace Estate drops out to trail. In the meantime, Cloud Mover has come away with the lead. Cloud Mover moves away to a 3-length lead. Lady Gangster trying to keep up. Juju on the beat. Rallies up outside of Laura's Grand, who got stopped in traffic there. From the back of the pack, Tap tries to run on. 1 furlong to go. And Cloud Mover rips off the turn in front by half a dozen lengths. Tap is rallying out in the center, but running out of time to get to Cloud Mover. And Rashawn Latchman, going to be a hat trick for him to close out the card. Rashawn Latchman and Cloud Mover take it in the end by 4 from Tap and a photo for third between Laura's Grand and Lady Gangster. Final time 123. Flat.
Third win today for Rashawn Latchman. Cloud Mover takes the nightcap at Charlestown. We head back over to the Meadowlands. The 11th coming up here, this 1-mile trot. Let's check in with Jessica.
Thanks, Acacia. A nice 1-mile trot we have up next, a field of 7. And you really could have gone back and forth between 2 horses in here. And I found myself still landing on the 4. Keg Stand, the other horse I'm talking about, is the 7 in a minute. Hanover, you're probably getting a bit more value on the 7 than you are the 4. But Keg Stand is coming back to the Meadowlands after facing Stakes Company, Sire Stakes horses at Oak Grove in Kentucky. Both a winner. First time out there was parked to the quarter, led every step of the way, did all the heavy lifting. Last time out was parked to the half and still had plenty of trot, coming home in 27 and 4 and a 52 and 4 mile. So he comes back to the mile track here at the Meadowlands, where we've only seen him qualify so far this year. 2 good qualifiers, dropping down in class. Yannick back in the bike, and he gets a good post to work with as well. In a minute, Hanover has just been super consistent all year long for Jay Cuff and Andy McCarthy. 10 starts on the year, 7 of those being on the board hits. Maybe just a bit flat last time out. We saw him here in the open 1 here. That was in against It's Academic and Hill Exotic, who we just saw race in the Cutler Memorial. So they gave him a couple of weeks off, so he's coming into this race with fresh legs. But prior to that, I mean, he was knocking on the door. He was able to get a win 2 back in the open 1, open 2 handicap here. He's a very versatile fella. He's got a very good foot off the gate if he needs it, but he can track down horses, come from off the pace. He can do it first over. He always seems to have that surge at the end of the mile, which is something I always like to see. He loves to continue to fight right through the wire. And I'm going to come back with Harry Nose in my exotics. I really liked him in that spot last week at 6-1. He just got beat a neck there by Balenciaga, who was also eligible in the Cutler, so stakes eligible horse there. Much better effort after being parked to the quarter, 27 and 2. Did all the heavy lifting, cutting the mile there. I like the familiarity with Todd McCarthy in the bike back again this week. He gets another inside post. No easy task, but I thought it was definitely a step in the right direction after maybe not having so much luck. 2 starts to go. The numbers of 20,000. We saw him rattle off 3 wins in a row from here to the Pocono. Then he went off stride. They gave him some time off. So I'd like to see that he's back in order. And you're probably getting a little bit of a price on him as well. So race 11 for me, it's 4 over the 7-3. We'll send it back to you guys at the desk.
All right, Jessica, thank you. The 11th from the Meadowlands, Keg Stand, currently 3-5.
Could go for a keg stand right now.
Yeah, I'm a little old for that.
No, listen, you're never too old for anything. Don't ever put yourself in a box, Acacia.
Fair enough.
Right?
3-5 on Keg Stand. What do you make of this one?
Legitimate. Definitely the horse to beat in here. Won at Philly to kick off the year, went down to Oak Grove, and won 2 of those Kentucky Sire Stakes series. I'm a little interested in the horse that we just saw on the screen, the 2 Sermons. One of the class droppers in here hasn't shown much at all since coming down from Woodbine Mohawk, but was running against the opens. Yeah. These aren't opens. So dropping a little bit in class today, 12-1 on this horse. I really can't make any argument against Keg Stand in here, but just looking for a price underneath.
Son of bar hopping. Let's see if he can get the job done in the 11th at the Meadowlands. Here's Ken Workington.
Preferred equine starting gate picks up speed for race 11. The Trotters, a field of 7 and 3-5 now in the 4. Keg Stand At 9-2, the 1 Mono More and the 7 In a Minute Hanover. Here they come. They're off and trotting In a Minute Hanover in blast-off mode on the outside. Harry Nose put in play. Monomore and Sermon from the inside into the first turn. Keg Stand gets away in 5th, 3 wide. And then comes PL Oscar and Kenzie Sky Hanover. The lone mare trails. They march to the quarter In a Minute. Hanover sent to the front here with Andrew McCarthy. Sets up shop there with Monomore now second by 2 lengths. Sermon is third off an opening quarter, a brisk 27 flat. Harry Nose fourth as they wheel off that turn. Then it's Keg Stand, 5th on the inside, followed by PL Oscar. And Kenzie Sky Hanover can see them all. In a Minute Hanover at 5-2 here on the engine. It's Monomore with the 2-hole ride, and Sermon is trotting in third, close to the half now. Harry Nose is fourth. Keg Stand still 5th and glued to the cones, and then PL Oscar and Kenzie Sky Hanover. In a Minute Hanover uncontested lead here, strolls past the half in 56-1, and there's no wind tonight, and it's Monomore second onto the far turn. Harry Nose on the outside, third, tries it first up. Staying in was Sermon. Up second over is Keg Stand, but he has to track Harry Nose. He needs to get going, and Keg Stand is forced 3 wide. Then it's Kenzie Sky Hanover, and they turn home with PL Oscar trailing and taking off In a Minute Hanover here in 124-4, trying to get some separation. In a Minute Hanover by 2 lengths. Mona Moore doing everything he can in second. Sermon on the inside, third. On the outside, Keg Stand. Heavy traffic for Harry Nose in deep stretch, almost home. In a Minute Hanover, and Andrew McCarthy again. In a Minute Hanover. Then very close. Either Sermon, Keg Stand, or Mona Moore, 152-4.
In a Minute Hanover, the winner in the 11th at the Meadowlands, as that will do it for us. Thanks for your patience with my sneezing. I'm hopefully going to get some more allergy medicine and be better for tomorrow. But Paul, great job as always.
Always a pleasure being with you, girl.
Lots of fun. For Jessica Ott and Paul Verderosa, I'm Acacia Plumont. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on this special evening edition of America's Day at the Races. We had a lot of fun, saw some great racing over at the Meadowlands as well. Venerate the winner of the Cutler Memorial with a big effort this evening. And earlier today, the Preakness in the second jewel of the Triple Crown. It was National Treasure to take the win, so no Triple Crown on the line this year. But that leaves the 3-year-old picture pretty wide open. We'll see what happens throughout the rest of the year. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. Our show kicks off at 12:30 p.m.